is more metal, Fire Seal. It's funny you say that. Because, yeah, I actually found out this is the original version. Okay? This is the original. The one I had was actually a instrumental version of it, so... Super metal, apparently. With the screamo and everything. How about that? How is everybody? Did you notice you didn't put in a Discord thing yesterday?
Oh no.
Yeah, you didn't even post a Discord post.
It's like there's an orc singing.
Yeah, orc metal. I like it. Right? I actually read the translated lyrics too. Totally fits. So cool. I don't know. I lucked out. It's a sweet intro song. I'm happy about it. Hey Mage. Hey Fox. Fire Seal. Wobbles. Glitter. My hi. Serenity. Chaos. How you guys doing? But yeah, depending on my mood, I might go back and forth between the metal version and the non-metal version. Alright. I do like the song. Okay. Leaving to raid and catch a Mewtwo soon. Yes, I still play Pokemon Go. I think that's great. I still wish Pokemon Go was as big as it was when it launched, because things were crazy. Like, the world changed for a bit, and I really liked that. And I really do wish it was still that way, but I don't know why it fell apart.
Summer ended.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and then winter came and nobody could go anywhere.
It's too bad they don't make it so winter Pokemon are, like, doubly... you know, more common in the winter.
I think also the biggest problem was that it favors those who live in metropolises.
That, and I guess you have to be traveling to get more. I think actually that was the biggest problem. They needed to figure out how to make it so even if you're kind of a homebody or you don't travel, you could still catch a lot of Pokemon. I think there was a big emphasis on travel.
Yeah, because for me, like, I'm not going to go anywhere. So I stopped playing. Because the only time that we would play would be when we went to a convention.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, well, you know, even if I go once a month, like, and you can't, what is it? You can't, like, get experience by just sitting around at home. So.
Oh, Bees!
Bees!
Oh, Bees is here, you guys! Hi, Bees! How are you? We miss you. We miss your streams. You guys should go follow Bees. He's great. Watercolor, 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 digital. Glitter wants digital. Well, you know what, Glitter? I will be doing what I was thinking of doing today next time or one of the next times digitally, so you will get a digital stream. The only reason I'm pulling up on that is I actually needed more feedback from you guys. So, just to kind of show you what I'm thinking, I'll even draw this real quick. So, I'm gonna redo my clover emoji. Jeez, guys. So, this clover here, I'm gonna be redoing it. And it's gonna be a lot cuter. It's gonna be more of a character. So I was thinking its arms would be kind of there and like it'd be like, hey, yeah, woo, whatever. So you can, you know, it can be like good luck, but also I'm a clover. I don't know. Obviously cuter than this. And then I was gonna make some kind of sub-shrub one. You know, obviously for the people that know what sub-shrub is, I figured we'd have a sub-shrub emoji, you know. But then the third one, I'm kind of, I don't know, I don't have really an idea for it. And Gabe and I were actually trying to think of something, but the problem was that we know each other too well to where we have our own inside jokes. And I was like, okay, we need to think about it just on a Twitch basis. Like, what are our Twitch things? You know, what's a very Cloverkin Twitch stream inside joke with them, you know, that you guys would appreciate? And I'm blanking. I mean, other than Kukui, you know, who's on here sometimes on the late nights, I was thinking about making one that's a broham and then having like a little, you know, Kukui thing, but then I was like, And then I thought about just making a chibi me doing something. Gabe thought I should be angry. But
it was more of like a rant, but I know like ranting isn't like it's looked down upon, I guess. So
ranting has a bad connotation, like, oh, you're always angry and you're saying a bunch of stuff that doesn't really mean anything. But having like a little Cloverkin emoji, but I wanted it to be something you could use in a situation. So like the clover you could use if somebody's leaving. You could be like, you know, good luck, bye, you know, so it's kind of doubling as a Cloverkin thing, but also as good luck. And then the sub-shrub is more for those that are on the inside, you know. Someone will be like, oh my god, what is that? It's so cute. It's from Cloverkin stream, sub-shrub, whatever. But then having another one. So if anybody's got ideas, throw them out. Throw them to me. Because it's about you. You know, you're going to be using them. So I want you to actually have the biggest say, even over me. I'm not even going to use my own emojis as much as you guys do. So really, it is about you. But yeah, I felt like the sub-shrub was canon. You know, he was canon enough to include. So we'll make a little sub-shrub. But I also need to know what else. Oh, that's true, Mage. Hatching the eggs is actually really fun. That's true, Mage. Yeah. When we were at Von House and everybody was playing Pokemon Go, it was a lot more fun. I think if it were just me and Gabe now, it'd just be kind of like... Do you catch, like, muscly Pokemon, like Machamps and stuff at gyms?
You'd think.
That'd be smart.
That'd be really smart.
I wonder if they do that. Bees! I'm just here striking something. Yeah, workout! Oh, roughing out work stuff. I've been misreading things like crazy. I don't know if some of you heard that terrible article about, I'll dip into politics for a minute and come back out, only because it makes a funny story. My Facebook feed was blowing up the other day talking about Toad and Stormy. For some reason, I thought Stormy was an Animal Crossing character that had been added into Mario Kart or something, and that Toad had been replaced. Okay? That's where my mind went. So on my Facebook, I was like, my feed's blowing up. Is Toad not in Mario Kart anymore? And everybody's just laughing at me, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? One of my friends was like, you sure you want to know? And I was like, yeah, I want to know. It was about Stormy Daniels and Trump's thing looking like Toad from Mario Kart, and I was like, oh my god. At least Toad's not taken out of Mario Kart. Like, I was so concerned. And I felt bad because a couple people were like, no, really? Because apparently they didn't know what was going on either. So that was funny, and everybody apparently thought my mishap was adorable, but I was genuinely upset. Anyway.
That reminds me, I had a dream.
Yeah?
Did that happen yesterday, right? The Toad thing happened yesterday?
I think it was 2 days ago.
Well, I had a dream afterwards where we were at a convention and Stormy Daniels came to our table, and she apparently is a big fantasy art buff. And she had a book that she wanted me to draw in, but she sent her proxy to come talk to me, you know? So she's like, this elderly lady is like, I'd really love for you to do a, commission in this, and I'm like, oh yeah, sure. And the weird thing was that, like, the book was already drawn in. It was just a bunch of drawings by some artists that Stormy loves. And really, like, she was just going around having people paint all the drawings that had already been done. Mm-hmm. Watercolor them or whatever. And it didn't come out that it was Stormy until like after I had agreed, you know.
Yeah.
And then she came out and she's like, "Oh, thank you so much for agreeing to do this." But she looked busted as hell. Like she looked like 20 years from now, Stormy. So she looked real bad. And I was like, "Oh God, I don't want to do this." And I was gonna I'm trying to figure out a way to back out. And she's like, "So did you want payment now? I can give you like I can give you like 150 cash right now if you want." And I'm like, $150 to just color this? Hell yeah! And she's like, and then I can give you a check for the other $750. And I'm like, okay. That's fine. I'll tell you, yeah, sure. And I was like, damn, $950 to watercolor something? Sure. Why not?
Yeah.
But it did not look like Stormy Daniels. It looked like
I'll tell you why he was dreaming about
after
this.
the storm Daniels.
Because of the thing that happened on Facebook. And not only that, but when we're at the gym, like almost all the TVs are either Trump or some BS thing about helping Holocaust people in another country who are like 80 years old who don't have family or bread. And it's one of those Sally Struthers, I'm gonna take your money and use it for my Ferrari and not help those people. And those always piss me off because they're just lies.
It's all news.
Or it's a deep fryer commercial with this really ugly guy who has the worst goatee I think I've ever seen. He has the worst hair.
Is he the one where he's always
force feeding this poor bitch that's next to him.
But
and she's like, "Oh, this
is
good. Try this one." Oh my god!
Oh my god! These fries are so crispy.
Oh, I love this cake. Like,
but then they go straight into the making cupcakes in ice cream cone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do that, and then they get little terracotta pots, and they put a cake in there, and they make it look like a cactus. Whoa! It was crazy, but this poor lady is always just getting, like, food shoved in her face. She's like, "Oh, yeah, this is great." Anyway, your gym is depressing. It's weird because it feels super. I know this is gonna be really weird and kind of I don't know how to put it. Dystopian? I'm gonna say it's dystopian. There are 10 or 11 TVs in a row, and I love Planet Fitness. Don't get me wrong. I actually really like Planet Fitness more than Gold's Gym by a million.
Yeah. Oh
it's so good. It's
no one
so
was grunting.
Good. Huh?
Zero grunts.
Yeah, and no one's dropping their weights and like making a bro whatever.
People actually go there and work out.
And it's so much cheaper. So much cheaper. Anyway, but they do have tons of TVs, and they're all in a row, and then they have a second row of like ellipticals and stuff, and there are TVs there too. But they're each lined up in a row, and it's like you get a slice of life with every one of them. And sometimes it's just one of those things where it's super...
Friends is on every day.
They have like a Friends channel, okay? I hate Friends to start with, and it's on all the time. So I've seen the same episodes a million times, and I still don't know what's going on. But anyway, there's a Friends TV, there's an HGTV channel, which is the only one I watch, because I love remodeling shows. I don't know. But then there's always like CNN, and then there's weird ones sometimes on the weekends. On the weekends, it's a toss-up. It's like whatever. If you go during the week every day, you'll know the schedule at what time. But during the weekends, it's crazy. There's this cool thing, though. It's called DRL. I feel really late to this, but it's a drone racing league.
Oh, yeah.
It's really cool. If you think drones are kind of neat, you should really Google this. DRL, Drone Racing League. It's really cool to watch. It feels super futuristic, and I know it's like not, but you know, it feels that way, and it's really neat. I don't know. These people have to be very skilled, and I think it's really cool. But anyway, so that was on the weekend. Yes, lunking. At Gold's Gym, there was so much of that. Mm-hmm. It was gross, and all these guys like just. You
know what was really weird? There was this one time when there's this guy. He took, like they were just a regular bench that you could sit on, not the ones that like
bend
move up,
yeah.
that bend up. It wasn't one of those. It was just a regular bench, and then he took another one and put it on top of that bench, and then he climbed on top of him, and he was doing like.
Was he benching a bench?
No. He was sitting. He was laying on his stomach, and then he was taking like weights and like sort of doing reverse bench press, but it's like,
why did you need a second bench?
so that he could
for
be
height.
higher. And I'm like, there's other machines that give you that, you know.
I was gonna say, isn't there something that's made for that?
Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, it was really fucking weird.
Glitter. Yeah, that'd be actually really cute. I actually thought of that for a pin, where it'd be like this would actually be red, and then these parts would be green. You know? But I wanted to save that for a pin, and I figured emojis are cuter when they're characters, so two-piece hamster emoji would be awesome. However, we don't get that option until I think we get partner, and then we get multiple emojis for every tier. So when you're affiliate, you get one emoji per sub tier. But I would love that one. You get a little ham booty. Whoa. What weird commercials do we have? We have a lot of weird ones. I mean, that deep fryer on a weekend, that's on all the time. What else do we have? I mean, we get the typical ones where celebrities are selling you butt cream and stuff. It's weird. Anyway. Come on, Kate, people on the subway like I'm angry for laughing. Oh no. You're welcome, Mage. Get that Mewtwo. Ooh, a Clover wand because of the Blessed by the Moss. I did want to bring the Blessed by the Moss in, but I wasn't sure how to do that other than just like a little patch of moss and it says blessed. But then I felt that was too religiously charged, and I don't want anything like that. You know, if you want to be professional in your art career, do not mention religion anywhere or politics anywhere, because people will judge you on those and you won't get a job, or you will get a job depending on those, and you don't want any sort of that playing into it. Clover lurk. Yeah, I think I'm gonna for sure do these two, but then the third one, like I said, this will probably be, this is the $5 tier. Sub-shrub will probably be 10. What is it? 5, 10, 20? What was it?
5, 10, 25.
5, 10, 25?
I think so.
How long am I going to be streaming? Till at least 6. I'm going to see how it's going though. Do you have your own emotes on Twitch to be able to receive subs? I think I know what you're asking, Serenity. So when you become a Twitch affiliate, you get one emoji you can make per 5, 10, 20 sub, right? For some reason, I mean, if you don't make them, people can't sub to them. And I didn't know that. I thought they could sub to whatever they wanted to, regardless if you had emojis or not. Turns out no. So Gabe and I, for over a year and a half now, have been neglecting doing our other two emojis, which are potential money, and obviously emojis you could use, where I thought people could just use them. Like, you know, use whatever, sub it, whatever, but no, but... It's true, it's true. So, if you are a Twitch affiliate, make sure you do all your emojis ASAP for every tier. Because if you don't, like if you guys look, if you're not subbed to me and you look at the sub option, it only gives you the one because I don't have the other two made. Does that make sense? So, was it only at the $5 level though, Wubbles? Because yeah, if you look, you can't sub to my other two tiers, which is weird. Okay, so you guys voted watercolor. So let's do that. There are two people I'm super inspired by lately on Instagram, where I've been wanting to do studies of kind of the same stuff they do. Obviously not ripping them off, but doing things that are inspired by what they do. And if you're confused about, well, how do you know when it's inspired versus copied, let me know, I'll explain it. Otherwise, what's the other girl's name? Okay. there are like 5 watercolor artists I absolutely adore on Instagram. Let's see if I can actually bring them up. So I'm gonna put up all 5 just because I feel like they deserve it. So one is, I mean, a couple of these are pretty, like, I'm sure a couple of you are already following these people, but and I've mentioned Nadia before. So one is, I'll write them just as their titles on Instagram in the chat. So Nadia Lutloff, which Gabe showed me her. This other girl, I don't know why you don't see many men doing watercolor.
I actually found one.
That's weird though, found one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's weird.
Like, there's not more men that do watercolor. Why is that?
I don't know.
One is Anna. And I'm really actually happy this one lady I'm going to post, Anna Katayan. She's in Germany. I'm so glad she posts, like, actual... process things, because it's amazing to watch. Like, it's absolute magic. And then the other ones are Iraville. She just had a Kickstarter. The Floral Fox art. That one has been crazy lately. And then there's one more, and I don't know why I'm blanking. These were starters. However, I recently got very inspired by one that Floral Fox did and Iraville did. So this one that Floral Fox did recently, I adore this so much. Like, I have to work on getting my watercolor more dark. A lot of my watercolor is extremely light. And I like that, but at the same time, I love this. Also, the definition that she's got going on here is nuts, and I really want to accomplish that. So what I'll do, what would be an inspiration versus copying thing, is copying it would be the same thing, you know. Inspired would be, I'd go look up like leaves I like or lilacs I like and try to look at a leaf here and see kind of how she did it, where the gradients are, where the highlights are, how she did, you know, the stems and everything. Like, knowing me and my weaknesses, I probably would have put shines on those berries, because I get shine crazy and I go in with the gel pen and I'm like da 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 da, and it almost is too much sometimes. This almost looks like a field guide, which I really, really like. So I'd like to get closer to that style, but not exactly on it, you know, because I still want it to be me. And then the other one was this one that Iraville did. She did 2 recently. One is this one of really cute, like, seals. These guys. And I love just how simple they are. And they're, like, gradients, super simple stuff, right? Really basic watercolor, actually. It's just she's so masterful of it, and it's got that, like, you have to wait a while thing. Like, you see how many passes she's doing right now, and she's waiting in between those for it to dry. So that's where I'm weak with watercolor, is the waiting. So that one and this meerkat one she did are very much like the same style, but it's just gradients. Really, that's all it is. I feel like a strong watercolor is just really well-placed gradients. It's really similar to marker, actually. So those 2 really inspired me. So I was thinking, remember I've told you in the past not to just do studies of things, like, yeah, I could just do a bunch of leaves and whatever, right? But then those are just leaves somewhere that I'm spending time on for no ultimate reason, right? However, what I wanted to do was to kind of incorporate both of those into a similar study that I could sell, right? Because I'll learn something from it. Time for me is money because I'm a freelancer, so I should ultimately be able to sell it, you know? And it's never going to be a train wreck at this point unless I make a giant accident on it or something, you know. But so that way I could do like an animal surrounded by some leaves, and for the animal kind of take her process to it where it's just gradients, and then the other one's process on the leaf, and kind of combine them and then see where that gets me. Obviously that's a little bit longer of a thing for today, but we'll see how far we get. And it doesn't really look like either of them use much pencil, so I'm gonna do light pencil even for me, which is probably gonna be pretty light. Pluritato yelled Titanic. Why? Why? Oh, bye, Doom. Thanks for coming. Yeah, you can't get subbed if you're not an affiliate. You also can't get bits. Bits and subs come with being affiliated, and then when you reach partner, you get a bigger chunk of, what is it, the sub, you get more?
I don't even think so. You just get more visibility. And you got to add revenue from...
Ad revenue, yeah, that was the thing. So partner gets ad revenue and more visibility, but honestly, the visibility is only really because you've got more viewers anyway. So partner honestly doesn't have too much more than affiliate, and really isn't worth the grind to get there. I really think they should change that and have more incentives for partner, because as it is right now, it's not even worth it. And the bad thing is, like, the one Gabe and I can't get, so you need 3 achievements to be able to level up to partner, right? Gabe and I keep hitting the same 2 every single stream, right? They're really easy to get, for us at least. And then there's this third one though, and this third one is what I think is their fail-safe, so that it makes sure you can't get partner easy, and it's 75 consistent viewers for like a few streams for a month, right? Mm-hmm. So during a month, I would have to have 75 people viewing normally. For those of you who know our buddy Tim, he's got that, and he's, you know, he can do that. We can't pull those kind of numbers right now, and we've been streaming a year and a half or more, a little bit. So that's actually really hard for us to do. So, you know, it's really hard to get partner, and really it's not even for that good of, I don't know, it's just, it doesn't seem worth it to me. Not right now anyway. Let me see something real quick. Alright, I'm gonna keep trying to get back to the chat. Right, Wubbles? Yeah. No, we got 2. We get 2 more, I think. I don't know, Gabe, would you say a heat gun for watercolor or a blow dryer?
I know.
Because my said a heat gun, but I could see that being bad.
I know Goss uses a heat gun. I think she uses a heat gun. As long as it's not too close to the paper.
That'd be the problem with the heat, and then with the blow dryer, as long as it's not blowing around the water. Yeah. You know, as long as it's on a low setting and stuff, I think you'd be okay. Either is probably fine, honestly.
I think you'll learn. The biggest scare that I have is actually burning the paper. Yeah. And I mean, it's not gonna light on fire, but it might cause some damage to the paper and an actual burn to it. Like it might brown it if you're using a heat gun. But again, like you just gotta be like, you know, like the further away the better.
So if you guys get any ideas for my best emoji, let me know. Like what would you like to use? You know, what emotion would you most want to portray? Because then I can place something to it, you know? So that could be good. So think about that, I guess. Also, good news! I found out yesterday I'm gonna be at FairyCon. Hey! It was sold out, but I got a call and they're fitting me in because they said I should be there, which is a pretty good call to get. So, because I had only applied a week ago, and I was like, oh, okay, so, hold on, I'm starting in the middle. Rewind. I got an email from FairyCon that was like, just one of those I'm on the mailing list. And that reminded me, oh yeah, I should have probably applied for that. I'm sure it's closed anyway, but if the applications are still open on the website, I'll just go and throw it in there anyway, right? Because they didn't have anything that said like, oh, FairyCon closes in this many times, or that opens at this point. And some cons are really crappy about saying when they open and close. But I was like, screw it, I'll just apply anyway, see what happens. Because Corey Godby had said at HeroesCon when him and I talked for a while, he was like, yeah, I'll put in a word for you, we'll see what happens, because he apparently is a guest this time around, and I didn't realize. And I was like, yeah, that'd be nice, put in a word for me, whatever, it's up to you, no worries about it, because he's got ties to it and whatever. So that reminded me, and then I applied for it, and then I got a call within 2 days, and it was from one of the ladies that runs it, and she's like, hey, so we're all sold out, but we could offer you a booth because I think you should be here, and we'd love to have you here. And I was like, oh, that's awesome, heck yeah. So I did that. We went through with it, and cool. So I'm gonna be at FairyCon. If anybody's gonna be there, it's in Baltimore, Maryland, so if you're close to it, come on by. I'm excited for it because it's a major change from what we're used to seeing. I am fatigued like crazy of superheroes. I'm so sick of comics and superheroes. Sorry, honey. I'm sick of it. I'm so sick of it. And
that's why I've been trying to find different conventions like Toy Cons and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it'd be nice to actually go to a con and see no superheroes. And especially not as much fan art. Which I'm sure I'm going to see it there, and I'll probably see Dark Crystal fan art and stuff like that. But it's not superheroes, which I am kind of just so sick of right now. So they'll be good. It is the, I think, 9, 10th, and 11th of November. So, unfortunately, it's during the Von House Halloween party, but this to me is more important. I've been trying to get in a FairyCon for a while. Oh, thanks, guys. Hi, Snowyak. Yeah, Wubbles, that partnering thing, I've applied 3 times, and because you can apply for partner even when you don't have all the achievements, but they're very difficult about that. They just say, keep trying, you'll get there. I don't know. I'm guessing they check your socials, and if you were at 100K on Instagram or something, they'd probably be like, oh yeah, we should partner you. But if you don't, so. Pluritato, thank you. It's very cute. I'm gonna just call you Tato.
Where is FairyCon?
It is in Baltimore, Maryland. Subshrub. Happy Subshrub. Yeah, he's going to be part of it. So it's Subshrub, a cute Clover, and then the third one, the best one, should be something I don't know yet. I don't know. I'm going to have to figure it out.
Should I do a story?
Hey, there you go, Wubbles. So Gabe just got a cue on. Do you want to come show it? So he'll be doing a review on this next week. Jesus, it's really this big? Okay, so for those that don't know,
it's probably not even that big. It's probably like half the size.
No, it's probably, well, what's the inches? 13?
It's 19.
You got a 19?
Yeah.
You see my Cintiq there?
I know.
That's a 12.
I know.
Anyway, you don't need one of these, by the way. But if you've gotten to the point with your art where you know you need one, and you don't just want one because you think it'll fix your art, don't ever get any expensive art tool of any kind just because it'll fix your art. You need to know you've gotten to a certain experience level to have earned that, okay?
You know what? I almost feel like if you're making... If you can make...
enough money freelancing
for
that?
Yeah, if you're constantly... if every week you're making as much as... If you could buy one of these every week, if you're making that much a week...
With your art.
And that's, profit with your art.
That's a good, yeah. That's a good bar.
Yeah.
So just know that. But yeah, we got that instead of Cintiqs because they're overpriced. They're ridiculous. We did a lot of research on this. Gabe did have a tablet. We have a backup tablet, but he needs this actually for work. So I gave in. I'm like, okay, well, let's try it, see how it goes. My Cintiq, by the way, is from 2012. Okay, it's lasted that long. It's really old, super ghetto, but it still does the job. It's actually got a dent in it from I don't know what, because I've never heard it. So, but I just have to avoid that spot on the screen, or else my lines will go like that. It's kind of funny. But anyway, okay. Let's get to the art, right? So Gabe will probably be talking about it, I'm guessing, Monday?
Yeah, I might even like do a demo on it or
That's
something.
huge. I thought you got one that's my size.
No, because I knew that I would need something bigger.
Y'all don't need this.
Well, so
I'm saying you don't need it.
the biggest reason that I got it was because
He
of,
barely needs it. Barely.
because of the all the stuff that I, like, I like that I have this big screen.
You have 2 screens.
No, I know,
Now
but
you have 3 screens.
I don't even need that screen, but I like that I have a big screen and I can work on a bigger canvas.
Yeah.
And I sort of need that because I am working so much in Photoshop that
He really got used to having a Surface too, so going back to a tablet was kind of hard. But anyway, Bubbles, would you go? It'd be pretty fun. Just saying. So before anybody buys one, just remember to assess where you're at, art-wise, skill-wise, if you need one. And then also, before you do that, hear out Gabe's review next week. Maybe we'll hate it. Who knows?
maybe I'll return it.
Yeah, that could be true, Glitter, if you're a bigger person. Yeah. Yeah, because I just enjoy my iPad, honestly. But, to each their own. Okay, so what animal should I do? I have my go-to animals I normally do. I could just do a bird with a leaf and something else, but maybe I should do a porcupine because they're my jam. Let's do a beaver, you guys. I haven't drawn a beaver in a while. I'm trying to break the stigma of the beaver. Beavers are adorable. Everyone must know. They are basically big hamsters with paddle butts. Yeah, let's be honest. And they eat trees. How cute is that?
No, it's funny that they put a sticker gift
Why would they do that?
just so that you know you get an extra one.
Oh, they gave him 2 pens.
Yeah, you
too.
get 2 pens. Which is
That's
nice.
nuts. Wacom doesn't even do that. Oh, opossums are, yeah. Let's see.
And a disc.
Holy crap, they're spoiling you.
2019.
I'm just being a jerk now.
Still got discs.
Alright, so right now I'm looking at a bunch of pictures of beavers. Okay? And then there's one scary picture of a man in a beaver costume. I don't know why you'd have that unless you're me, but why would a man need that? It's poorly made too. Anyway, okay. So I'm kind of looking at all these, looking at the shape of the animal itself, figuring out kind of what parts of the beaver I want to capture. They have a really cute hump. So I think I might actually put the hump in there. Because they can be just a cute ball of, cute. But
Ooh. That's a nice piece of board.
Mayfox, feel free to put in the link to it. What?
Nice board.
I'm going to cut this up.
I don't think you can.
Oh.
It's like almost like the stuff
the
that we get.
Gesso one?
Yeah, that's really nice.
You use that. You
Yeah.
like the big one. Unless you want to cut it up.
It's a little more flexible, but still nice. Wow.
I mean, that'd be really good for watercolors.
Yeah.
I actually really like this picture.
Watercolors.
Watercolor. I guess you could have went to the gym. I didn't realize it'd show up so late. I'm also gonna caricature the beaver a bit. I want his head to be bigger.
It was leg day.
Did you not want to do leg day?
I love leg day.
Yeah. What?
It's not as hard as arm day.
What are you guys doing right now?
Oh, another gift.
What's the other one?
The glove.
They gave you a glove?
Oh, yeah. Which is nice because mine's like starting to pillow.
Okay, if you want a drawing glove, get one of those $2 gloves and cut it.
Yeah.
That's what I did, and this is fine.
Unless you sweat profusely.
I do.
Like I do.
You do not sweat as much as I do.
In my hand, I do.
No, you don't. I sweat way more. You kidding me? At least you're not doing traditional as much anymore, so
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about it as much as I do, but... Oh, I got a sad email today. I think I can share it just because, you know, I'm not going to tell you who it was or anything, but one of my people had to get a refund on their pet commission because their marital status changed. And, you know, usually I've never gotten asked for refunds. I think that's the second time. The first time was actually someone who had bought it for someone's birthday and then realized, oh, they wanted this other thing for their birthday. So they basically pulled out of that. But this guy, he said I had a, marital status change, so,
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, but I totally get it. I mean, if it were me and what happened to me, I wouldn't have a dog anymore, So if that happened to him, I totally get it. It was just kind of sad. And luckily we're in a financial situation where I was like, yeah, I can give it to you right now. That's totally fine. Just know that is a possibility. If you do a lot of commissions, and I mean, that's a pretty good ratio though. I've done probably 250 or something like that, and out of that many, only 2 have wanted refunds, and it's not because like I'm terrible or anything. They were for legitimate reasons, but just know that can happen, obviously. I mean, if someone orders a portrait for someone they love and oops, things fall apart, obviously they probably won't want to do that anymore. So sometimes that happens. Bye, Glitter. Thanks for coming. Aw, May Fox is cute. Remember to rest. Is he sleeping? He's sleeping, right?
Maybe.
On my way home, but I don't want to get home because I have to make more mooncake. Why do you have to make the cake? Like, why are you making it for someone? I mean, they look delicious, and I'm really curious how you got that really intricate design on there. Ooh, I loved it. It was beautiful.
Everything she does seems to be magic.
It really does. Mai, you're really amazing. Everybody should go look at Mai's art. Small plug for Mai. Now, obviously, even though this is a study, it's mainly a color study of how they colored, right? So I'm gonna still design the beaver how I would design a beaver that I would do. I'm not gonna try to match, she did eyes that looked like, I'm not big on the eyes that look like this on animals and stuff. A lot of people do that, or just, big almost anime eyes and stuff, and I don't like doing that on my animals really, unless it's, of course it's a portrait, then I try to make them somewhat realistic for that, but in this case I'm not gonna copy her style or anything because I'm just inspired by those, right? And because I'm inspired, I'm taking cues from them just in how they went about it. So when I actually color him, what they seem to have done is put the dark areas, on the outskirts of it, but just kind of let it blend. Which my problem is I overwork a lot of my watercolor stuff, and really that's the patience thing, and that you have to work on like as a person, a lot of art things, you usually have to kind of work on the inside out, if you know what I mean. Like, do you have anything like that? So for me with watercolor, to get better at watercolor, I actually have to fix the fact that I'm impatient. Like an actual character trait. I have to change so that I can do some form of art. You know? It's kind of tough.
I think I might have the same problem with oils. Like I hate waiting that long.
Yeah, oils take days.
Yeah.
I
can't handle that.
You know what? And to make him more of a me thing, I'm gonna give him a hat. I mean, what's more Ashley than a beaver wearing a hat, right? So let's go that route. Just to make it more me. Because if there's one thing you should be unapologetic about, it's what makes you you. Right? Right. And this beaver needs a goddamn hat. There we go. Okay. He's ready for a night on the town. Chewing all that wood. Okay, so this might even still be a little bit too dark, but that's okay. Howdy, Bodie. I make mooncake for Moon Festival. Aw, my, that's sweet. Oh, you got nothing to do with it. It's a mold. Oh, bye, Fire Seal. Enjoy. That's very sweet of you, Mai. How many of those do you actually have to make, though? If you're making them for family and friends, that's got to be quite a bit, yeah? Right, Serenity? So I can't think of other things. Can anybody else where, honestly, maybe anger issues? If you get really frustrated or angry at stuff? I mean, just in general, I think it's bad to have that being an artist, because you might trash your stuff. I don't know.
I mean, how many of us have torn up a piece of paper because we couldn't get it to look the way we wanted?
I mean, I think even when I was younger, though, I don't think I ever, like, rage quit a piece.
Oh, I did.
I just never understood destroying stuff when you're mad, because then something's destroyed, and it never makes you feel better. So why destroy something? 100? Wow.
Wow.
What's the Moon Festival about? It sounds really cool.
Do they? Wow. How big are they? I haven't seen. How big are they? And B,
I think they're the size of your palm.
Like, do they last?
I would assume.
Or are you making like 30, 40 every night?
Did you see them though? They're gorgeous.
No, I haven't.
They look delicious.
It's on her thing?
Yeah. Well, it was on her live story. So it should still be on there. But they're absolutely gorgeous. You are very skilled with baking. Beaver and tree trunk. How's today going for you, Bodie?
Oh, God. Magical.
About the size of your palm? Oh my god. Do they have filling on the inside? Or are they just kind of like little bread things? Slow day? Is that good or bad, Bodie? A slow day. Oh, I forgot to show. So, sometimes people do fan art of Cloverkin. Other times I have my friends, like I commission them or commission people that I respect to do it. This was my friend Gianna. She did a really weird take on her, and I kind of dig it. It's super dark and really manic. I'll call it manic. I think that's a good word for it. She thought my eyes are brown just because the brown and the little chibi, but that's fine. That's fine. I look like Callisto from Xena. I'm okay with this. I thought it was really cute. I really like her decision here on the forearms. It's almost kind of Popeye-ish. Did I say it really funny?
It's what?
Popeye? Did I say Popeye? It's Popeye.
It's a dog. I want to see somebody draw a dog version of Popeye. Popeye.
Here's the weird thing,
oh, no.
okay? I say pop.
Yeah.
So you'd think I'd say Popeye. But I say Popeye.
Popeye the Sailor Man.
Yeah.
Huh?
Anyway,
That's great.
That doesn't even make sense. Anyway, but yeah, she took my reference pictures and took some liberties on it, and I always love to see what people take liberties on with it and how much they change it. I think that's so much fun. So she did a really awesome job on that. Her Instagram is, what is it again, Gianna? Instagram.com/ I'm gonna forget it because it's a lot of G's and a lot of L's. Gianna. Oh yeah, I cannot remember this from Gia Liga Mamari. Gia Liga Mamari. But she must be really Italian or something. I think that's what Sean had said. But yeah, this is her normal stuff. She is a storyboard artist, I believe, but she's got a lot of fun stuff. She's kind of like Gabe and I, where she's kind of just, I don't want to say ADD with stuff, but we just don't like spending a lot of time on things. So just done, right? And this is one of those ones where I asked her to do it traditionally, and she was totally not used to traditional. So I feel kind of bad. I should have just told her she could do it digitally, but at the same time, I'm happy. What?
I got a free screwdriver.
They gave you a screwdriver? Cool!
It
No,
must
let's
be
keep
like,
that out. That's freaking great.
Dime a dozen in China or something.
Does it say where it's from?
No. I mean, probably China.
From strangling foreigners. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe. I'm just swole from anger at that. Oh, nuts and candied fruits. So wait, is it a fruit cake? Do you know what a fruit cake is? Is it equivalent to that? Is it kind of tough when you eat it? And kind of candied?
Dense.
Like sticky? We're just saying a bunch of adjectives, but you know.
I imagine them to be very dense.
Hey, Bodhi, since you're here now, so I need a third emoji to make. Right now I've got a really cute, happy clover I'm gonna do. Okay. Oh, Sniggle subscribe! Oh man, what is this? Oh, this is the official 12.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so for anybody that is new to this, so I am going to add the other 2 tiers for those of you who actually want to do the bigger sizes, because when you sub, if you sub for a year, you get a free commission. Now, if you're at the $5 tier, you get one that's this big. At the next tier, you get one that's about 5x7, somewhere in there, and then 7x10 for the biggest one. So not only are you subbing to support me and to get the emojis, which are coming, but you're gonna get some art, because otherwise I feel weird just giving you emojis, you know? So I feel like it should be some sort of payment plan as well. But anyway, so the $5 tier is gonna be, right now, since it is the Clover, I just feel that Clover is so not me after I've developed who I am on my streams since making that. We're gonna make it kind of a cute little, oh my god, little Clover. And then for the next level up, I think we'll do the sub-shrub and actually make him what he will be, you know, in the story of me. I don't know. God, it's so weird. Does anybody know Kevin Braggart? Devin. Did I say Kevin?
Mm-hmm.
Devin Braggart. She is pretty good too. I just asked for a headshot from her today because she's doing $15 commissions. I'm like, okay. I mean, she's a good artist though. She's got 11K followers. She knows what she's doing. So if she wants to do $15, let her. You know, you can't, you know, whatever. Anyway, so I paid her $15 and I gave her some of my Cloverkin stuff. I'm like, she/me is my Stream Sona con personality. And I think I finally nailed that.
What?
The description of what I am.
Gotcha.
But saying she/me feels weird still. But regardless. Sniggle, you get the sub-shrub nub rubs. I swear to God I'm gonna make a new one at some point. But you get 12, okay? We did Sniggle's commission a couple streams ago on his birthday, since he was so close. So, it's already done and whatever. Happy birthday, whatever. Ready? You get 12 nub rubs. Make a wish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You're welcome. Better come true. And the melancholy clover. Maybe I could have a melancholy clover. Nah, I'm taking too much from that. So anyway, Bodhi. Fan art with a cross across it. So that's funny because there is a anti-fan art logo that we made. But as much as I'm against it, I really, if you go to the site, you'll see the logo. But I don't want to, I want to keep that as, I know I'm gonna have the hardest trouble with this too, but I'm gonna try to keep it separate from me. So when I spread the website elsewhere other than here, I don't mention that I made it. I just say, hey, you should check out this website, it explains some stuff, it's really helpful for a couple of my friends, blah, blah, blah. I try to make it so it doesn't sound like me, because I'm trying not to really dirty my brand. I will, like, when asked about it, though, stand my ground and explain it. But, for the most part, trying to keep them a little separate. So I don't think I want people subbing to that emoji. But, I don't know, maybe I should. I don't know. Yeah, I don't want it to be my brand. I'm my brand. It's a facet of me, it's not me, right? But I'm trying to think if there's anything that is on the stream that's stream canon, we'll say, like the sub-shrub, the melancholy clover. I was thinking of just a cute little emoji on my face, my character's face, and doing something or saying something under it. Not the Blessed by the Moss one. Or having Kukui, but that might be sad when he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
But she still has a hamster mount. So, I mean...
Yeah, but that's just you. It's not like it's Kukui.
What if we call it Ham Up? And it's like, man up, but ham up? Is that dumb? It's probably dumb. I also had Bro Ham. Ham Up. Or Go Ham. And then... The problem is making it look like a hamster when it's so small. So I will have a stream on designing icons and iconography because it's hard, and I think people need to know there are some special things in Photoshop that really help you with designing icons and logos and stuff. I'll go over those next week after I figure out what this third one is. So help me, give me ideas, because if you guys sub to me, I want you to be able to use an emoji you're proud of and that it's fun and whatever. I'm not doing it for me. I'm literally doing it for you. So, an anti-fan art pin would definitely be more likely. I have thought about that one. Having 2 of my emojis be elf ears. Once I get more slots, yeah, that'd be super cute. Because then you could put that on anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cute, Brody. But the problem is right now at affiliate, I think we just have 1 per tier. So that sucks. A bee! Oh, Mayfox, like Hazel's bee? Who I never named? Oh, we could do him! Should we? Would you guys use a bee? What would you use a bee for? Be nice?
Nice.
We could have a Be Nice!
Mm-hmm.
How elementary school! But you know what? I don't care. That's pretty cute. You can use it against trolls. So this is what we were thinking of. Oh, she said be original.
Oh.
That's good too. Shit.
That's a lot of letters though, isn't it?
It is a lot of letters. That's the only problem. Reduction is hard. But like last night before bed we were talking about this because I was like, I have no idea. I really don't. And usually I'm decent at this stuff. I could not think of anything. Because I was trying to put myself in your guys' shoes and I was like, tomorrow I'm just going to ask him. But then we thought of a no trolls one where it's like me and I'm like, and it says no trolls or something like that. Where did I put it? I could show it. Did I already lose the Are you kidding me? There we go. But it'd be like one of these, but it says like, no trolls. And so if you were in a chat room and, you know, someone was there and they were being mean, you could have me being like, do this. Brr. Is it showing up? Yeah. You got the little thing. I got a little hand on this thing here. Oh, wow. No trolls. You know? I don't know. Something like that. But that's a little bit negative, right? And I didn't want anything negative. So the positive version of that would be nice. That's very good, May Fox. Do you guys like that? Would that be cute? Yeah, Bodhi, once I get multiples, I think I'll do that. That's fantastic. I do like the idea of the modular emojis that can be latched onto anything. Someone earlier had said to make a long ham, where it's a hamster and then middle section, whatever, and then the back end. But do you think you guys would use that though in a chat room if someone's being like mean? You can even use it against me. I could see actually somebody using it against me a lot. A lot. Emojulars. Yeah, right? That's fine, Mai. Yeah, lurk. Make your cakes. Your beautiful, beautiful cakes. Yeah, I might have to do the bee. Because, I mean, I love him. But I did want a cute one of me, too. I don't know. Be nice. Oh, you know, it could just be a bee, and then it just says nice. Maybe he's got sunglasses. I don't know. I still need to work on it, man. These are important to me. Okay. Let's say this is the whatever. So my mind is in a let's do this quick, but it absolutely cannot be, is the problem. I know, Bodhi, I would love to have animated GIFs, but I will have those on my stream. My ultimate version of my stream, when someone follows, I'm going to come out of the side like the cute little cartoon of me, and I'm going to have a little horn. And, where did I put this? I had a sketch of it. I'm trying to think of where I put it. Because I can actually show it to you. I think it's in my other sketchbook that's in the cubby. But anyway, it's me with an old like medieval horn that's got a little banner on it. And it's like, thank you, blessed by the moss. And it's like, and there's like clovers that come out. Either that or for a donation or something, I come up from the bottom and I go, woo, and there's clovers everywhere. Do a little particle effect. Thank God I got After Effects from working on this school type project I'm doing for people. Which is a nice side effect. So sometimes when you do freelance work, places will pay for you to have programs that you need. So luckily, the one I'm doing right now is paying for me to have After Effects, which is pretty nice. So I'm glad I can use the particle simulator on that again. And maybe when I do that, actually, I can show you guys how to make that. I know a lot of people probably don't have nor need After Effects, but it could be kind of neat to see. But anyway, I'll show you how to do a clover particle effect, which could be fun. Alright. I'm going to bring up... Sniggle, how you been? How you doing? How's your mother? How is your mother? Yeah, After Effects is great, especially if you want to get more heavy into animation and stuff. It was my favorite program for a really long time. Oh, I actually don't know if some of you guys have seen, way back when I mean, I do have an animation degree, but I did a music video a long time ago. So the timing in a lot of parts of this is not good, but just so you can see it, I did a lot of it in After Effects. So you can see this is puppet animation though. Be reminded of that because it's not frame by frame, it's puppet, which means that you piece out every single bit of it. So this was a very time-consuming project, but it didn't win. I got like second place or some crap. That's okay. So Clip Studio already has animation on the iPad, apparently. For those that didn't know. I did subscribe to it for $5 a month, yet I have not been using it like I should be.
I think you gotta have the most expensive version to have the animation. No?
I think the $5 is the most expensive.
Oh.
Yeah, so Serenity, right now, I think I'm paying $20 a month, and it's for Photoshop and After Effects, because Photoshop alone is $10 a month. But obviously with After Effects added on, yeah, it became $20. But I get reimbursed for that from the guy I'm working for, so that's super nice. Sorry, gathering references at the moment. Okay. You guys can see this okay, right? So yeah, I feel like if you guys are curious enough for that, I can absolutely, show you how that would work. What part, Bodhi? What was great? What did I do? Okay. Ugh. Oh, good, you watched it. Thank you. Yeah, so it's actually a French song, and it's about chewing gum and drinking pop. Like, that's really what it's about. And when I first heard it, since, first of all, I don't know French, I know some, but not a lot, it was, in my head, it was, like, very much a Bonnie and Clyde. So whenever she was singing it, it was very boppy and very cute, and I was like, oh my god, what if they were characters? And I was like, this would be so adorable. What if they had a little ice cream truck that instead of ice cream, everything was bombs and things? And so the C4 ended up being a really good topper for an ice cream cone. So all of them had little detonators, and it was really fun. And I was really proud of it at the time. Like I said, that one's really old, though. I don't even remember when it was from now. 8 years ago!
Wow.
8 years. I was how old? I can't do math. Hold on. I was 24, you guys. I was 24. 8 years ago. So anyway, I mean, I was still doing a lot of animation back then because I was still in college, I think. Or it was right after college. Yeah, I think I got out of college when I was 23. But, yeah, that song was more in my head than what they intended it to be. Like, it really wasn't about just pop and gum. It was about, like, a little girl who was always drinking pop and a little boy who was always chewing gum. And I wanted all these little candy things in it. I don't know. I thought it was really fun. I had a good time with it. And I do have, I had like 2 or 3 other music video ideas, but then I actually turned one of them into a comic. And I did that for actually a 24-hour comic book day. And I'll tell you what, I'm actually really glad I did that, because if I had made it into a music video, and I actually talked to, it's actually for Jonathan Colton originally. If anybody knows who Jonathan Colton is, it was for the song Womb with a View, which was about like a test tube baby that falls in love with another one. It's really cute. But I did the entire storyboard for this music video, and I had even asked him, he was doing a Q&A on something once. I was like, hey, if I did something inspired by you, you know, using this, could I send it to you, and blah, blah, blah. And this is before I even got on my fan art train or knew anything about IP, you know, all that. I knew it'd be complicated, but I really wanted to do it. And then I realized after I had finished it, not the video, but the storyboarding of it, I was like, I probably shouldn't do this, you know, because what can it do for me in the long run? And even being in gaming at the time and doing animations pretty regularly, I was like, I can't really do much with this. And it is kind of the sad thing about animation nowadays, that unless it's for something bigger or something very specific, you can't really do anything with it. There's no real practical use. Like, I can't sell it at, you know, a convention or something, unless you get those little, like, what are those, GIF Polaroids they have now? Where you can make GIFs on a Polaroid and give it to someone.
Oh, yeah.
Which is neat, but it's not practical, and it's not cheap to make, right? So there's no real good application for that as an artist. There's no real way to make money. So I was like, I really like what I did. I like my premise. I like everything that ended up, right? So I was like, well, I'll do this into a comic. And then if I want to in the beginning, I'll say inspired by Jonathan Colton, right? So credit where it's due. But at the same time, I was just like, there's nothing I can do with it. And some things you think of, and this is why I put so much emphasis to you guys so often about thinking of something's final form. And don't let it scare you thinking of, you know, what it'll eventually be. Let it motivate you, right? Yeah, I mean, some people really get excited about making calendars and things, right? Stuff like that, but let me see from that podcast. No, Jonathan Colton actually did, if you're familiar with Portal, he did Still Alive, and the other one I can't remember now. But he's most famous for those. But he has his own albums, his own mythos even. For one of his albums, it was very much a concept album. It was like about a mad scientist. Like Skull Crusher Mountain's a really cute song. But Womb with a View, like if you listen to that and listen to the lyrics, it's so cute. So I wonder if I have it around. I think I do. Hold on. So I figure when I get time, or if I get time, I always laugh when I say that. I really shouldn't. That's not funny. When I get around to it, I think there is going to be a spot where my commissions are going to die down and I can actually work on a bunch of stories. I'm really excited for that. I was assessing that today and I was like, yes. So I kept it in this thing. So I did 26 pages during 24-hour comic book day. If I remember right, that's how many I got done.
Mm-hmm. And
they're super rough, all right? Think about this being like Journey June in a day. Basically, that's what it was.
Yep.
It was Journey June in a day. So, and they're really rough. They're just the pencils. But, it might even be, so that's a door. There's a narwhal. There's a Loch Ness Monster. Loch Ness Monster's here. And we've got these little tubes. So it was actually kind of a panning situation. And there's a little guy in the test tube, and there's an empty one. And then there's some rats here. So establishing that it's a laboratory, right? Well, it depends, Serenity. I mean, are you going to be doing frame-by-frame animation with, like, old-school 2D, or are you going to take pieces and animate those? Yeah, he's the Portal Song guy. Yeah, he's done a lot. He's been around forever, too. We were really heavily into him during college, and I actually went to one of his concerts, and it was super badass. He actually covered Feel Like Making Love by Bad Company, and it was awesome. He did awesome. It blew me away. He was so hardcore by just having an acoustic guitar. Somehow he was awesome. It's badass for a nerd. Anyway, so these little guys then, I don't know if I have the... Oh, I do. Hold on, I can actually get you the concept art of these. Sorry, today is a digression day. I watercolored a base on a leaf and that's it. So if we go to Moon with a View, bird. These are all going to be on my old accounts, by the way. So, you guys can see the original concept art of these if they'll load. Yeah, okay. So if you do this, and you look at, there's a whole bunch of concept art on here for this. So you can kind of see what they'd look like in their full fruition. Obviously it's been a long time, but I'd probably stay pretty true to them. Yeah, he's great. He's so smart. I don't know. He got hired by Valve to do the Portal sagas, by the way. But so little guy, he's got some number thing on here that becomes relevant later on. Here he wakes up, he waves to his buddy Loch Ness. And Loch Ness is like, "What's up, bro?" And I don't know if I'm gonna take you through this whole thing, but maybe. And then he waves over to the narwhal, and narwhal's like, "Hey!" And then he's just kind of content, but then he's kind of sad because he's lonely and he's not actually near anybody, right? But then, in his little tube here, a new one gets added in. And she's cute. She's got a couple more dealy bobbers on her head. And she stretches and wakes up. He's like, "Hey, hey, hey." She's like, "Huh?" And he's like, "Oh, hi." She's like, "Hi." And he's like, "Hi." Oh. And he gets really smitten pretty quickly. Oh, this is the one beforehand. Okay, so it did a close-up of him being really, like, alone, right? And then, ploop, she gets put in. And he's like, oh, hello. And that's where this one then happened. And so it ends up being a really cute story kind of about their love. They fall in love and they're test tube babies. I don't know if that's cute or weird or whatever, but I got so inspired by his song that it just, I don't know. But when I had asked him, what if I did a music video and I used your song? And he was okay with that at the time, so this not even being a direct thing really. Yeah, I think it's cute, and I think it's one of those things it's a little macabre if you think about it too much, but otherwise if you just take it at face value, it's pretty harmless and adorable, Okay, so I'm looking at how she did these leaves, right? Because I really dig how dark they are, and as I was saying earlier, I really have a problem getting things darker, so I have to start using other colors to actually get that darkness. And the other thing is to actually, make sure I'm using the gradients appropriately. Because depending on how the leaf is kind of sitting, it's similar to fabric. A lot of things like this are similar to fabric, so that's why it's really important to do like fabric studies and such, because it's really going to dictate a lot of things in the future that you end up drawing. Funny enough. How is it, Gabe?
A little scratchy, but I think it's because I don't think they gave me it's the nib, but I think they didn't give me the screen protector. I think it's supposed to come with one, but I'm not sure.
Did you peel at the sides and see if anything?
No, there's nothing on it.
So Gabe got a Huon, for those that are just joining, which is like a knockoff Cintiq companion, basically.
The bigger problem for me right now is that I'm getting used to the Retina display.
Oh, and that's not as.
And this is a regular display.
Yeah.
So that, and I think I might try. It's also running on VGA.
Yeah.
So I wonder the difference between VGA and HDMI.
It's true, Cass. I actually do a lot of stuff that I didn't realize is so dark. But if you look at that Poppin' Gum video that I linked, that is kind of macabre. And it's pastels and stuff, but that doesn't matter. The idea there is still it's dark, but it's cute, but it's dark, you know? So anyway, do you think that the weight of the paper influences the outcome of the colors? Yes. I think so.
Because it soaks in a specific amount of color.
Yeah. I mean, depending on what you're using and its toothiness and where it holds the color. That's also important. Today, since I'm practicing, I'm not using the really nice shit. I'm just using some of that, I think we've shown it on the stream before. It's just really crappy Walmart, like, watercolor paper. So if I put too much water on this, it'll totally go downhill. Like, absolutely. But, for the moment, it's, you know, like I said, I don't want to use the really nice stuff. So you choose your battles, you know. Let's see. I think with watercolor, it's another thing, and Gabe's gonna be like, duh, about all my realizations here. But, when you add color is important too. So like as it's drying, if I don't want it to bleed so much, I have to wait till it dries a bit. And then it won't bleed as crazy. So I mean right now, I'm just dropping in some color to get, you know, more gradation in certain areas. And this is kind of cool. I know this is because there's too much water, but at the same time, it's doing a spider effect almost, which is helping the hair texture. So I'm a little bit conflicted because I like it, but I know it's probably bad form. My personal preference is, can you hand me that? The arches? When I do decide to do really good stuff, I do it on this one. It's Arches hot pressed. So at Dick Blick and stuff, it comes shrink wrapped, or you can get it as single sheets. Sometimes we'll get one of those giant single sheets, and they're huge. They're like 3 by 4 feet, something like that. And you can buy them singular if you don't want an actual sketchbook, or if you want them at a really weird size. There's still a watercolor painting I want to do that's really long, and it's like long and thin, so it's about like this but pulled out pretty long. And if you have some really weird ratio like that, obviously it's, you know, I can't do that with this, so I gotta get a big piece of paper and then cut it to that size that I want. But I don't know how much this usually is. Plus this is only 12 sheets, so that does get me a little freaked out, you know, and I don't usually get freaked out.
It's about $30.
It's expensive.
Yeah, but if you get a coupon, you know. Obviously.
Yeah. It's 140-pound paper, and like I said, it's hot pressed. So think of hot press like if you took an iron to watercolor paper and it brought down that toothy texture. I don't like the toothy texture of cold press because it throws off a lot of my shadows and stuff. It puts highlights necessarily where I didn't want it. Some people actually really like that because they like that texture, and that's fine. That's fine. Everybody's got a different preference for whatever. If it suits your art, cool. But for me, you know, I wanted more control than that. So, and I'm putting up a fan right now above this so it dries quicker. But yeah, it's basically untextured. Think about it like it got ironed, hot iron pressed, you know. And Gabe usually prefers cold because he really enjoys that weird texture he gets. So it really depends on your preference, and there's no good or bad to either. Really, it's just whatever you want to do. Is there a difference in like price, Gabe?
Of what?
Is hot pressed cheaper, more expensive than cold pressed?
No, well, it's harder to find hot press. It's harder to find cheap hot press.
Oh.
It's easier to find cold press.
I see.
So then, obviously, yeah, there is going to be a price difference.
Okay, so hot pressed is more expensive.
Only because they don't make cheap, or it's, like I said, it's hard to find cheap
I see.
version of it.
Okay, so Serenity, you might want to actually try something more hot pressed then. Honestly, this paper, this cheap paper, it feels more hot pressed than cold pressed.
Especially if you flip it over, because it's got two sides.
Maybe I'm on the smooth side.
Yeah.
And remember too, if you get really anxious about painting, like I do with certain things, I will get a little bit anxious about it and be like, well, can I actually get this texture out of this thing and blah blah blah. I know I'm not going to get the fur I want out of using watercolor, but that's okay because I'll just go back later and use colored pencil or pastel. Like, you can always use whatever you want on top of it to get your desired effect. That's part of why I feel mixed media is really cool, because you can get the look you want by using something, sometimes something crazy, right? Because like if you wanted to use a food or something that had a certain effect on top of it that you couldn't get with the paint, cool. That might become your trademark, Anything like that you experiment with can become something that's very you to people, Oh, damn. Sorry, Serenity. Yeah. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, and that light's not helping either, huh? There, that's better. A little bit. Usually I'm better about that. Sorry. It's very yellow. Yeah, Cass is right about pencils and cold press. I hate it. It pisses me off so bad. I think I did my snail mouse on cold press, right?
I think so.
Hell no. With the way I do stuff with the colored pencil and the pastels, like the chalk, just sits in those crevices. It's horrible for my process. So, I can't use cold press. It really does not work well. Hey, Spongy! Yeah, Serenity. And I mean, maybe it'd be better for you just to buy the sheet, and then so you could cut little tiny ones and then have a couple big ones. It's really like when you do the sheet version, you get to kind of choose your sketchbook size. Whereas if you buy a sketchbook of it, a booklet of the paper, it's really set for you. And it's like, well, that sucks, So this does seem to help with my impatience having the fan up, because it is drying it a lot quicker, which I am happy about. Yeah, there you go, Serenity. How you doing, Sponge? You good? See, now I've got bleeding. And that's gonna happen when you're impatient. So if anybody does have anything they want as an emoji, let me know before the end of the stream, because I'm going to start actually putting that in motion so that next week we can have a stream that is mostly like digital. So I can teach you guys some of that. But you do like it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Like it's worth it?
Yeah.
Okay. Almost gave me a heart attack here.
Why?
Because it's a lot of money. And then if that didn't work out, you know, what would we do?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what would you do instead?
I just use what I can, I guess.
Like, I'd be afraid you'd go back to your Surface, and then it's like, well, why did we buy the...
Mm-hmm.
Unless you can use the Surface as a tablet.
No.
Did you look into that?
Yeah, it's very difficult.
Mm. I was being too careful, so now I'm not going to be careful. Sometimes I get mad at myself. I can tell I'm being too careful, so I'll just throw some color on. And I actually feel like this is when good things happen. It's when you get tired of your own bullshit, and then you're like, oh yeah, fuck it. I'm going to destroy this. But not destroy it, obviously. I'm still making smart choices, but it's one of those things where I'm not too careful. And I looked at one of the pictures, one of the references. I've just got all the Google image pull-ups. And one of them has a beaver that's got like some splotches of orange, and it looks cool. So I was like, let's put the orange on. Screw it. I keep using too much water. That is my sin. My watercolor sin is using way too much water. And this is something that has been so hard for me to break. Personally. So. And see, I did this too soon. I should have waited. Apparently a lot of people have birthdays in late September.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen 4 people in the past 2 days that had birthdays.
This is Christmas and New Year's Eve babies.
Oh, is it? Oh. Tim's is coming up too, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Or Thanksgiving too. It's just winter, you know? People get
Well,
it all.
except for me. Because
Yeah.
that means my parents did it in, what? What's 9 months before January?
Summer.
April. Wait, no. Wait, what? Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it's April. What the hell happened in April? Unless it was my dad's birthday. Ew! My dad's birthday is March 27th. So, ooh. Birthday sex. Ew. Ugh. That's how I feel about markers, Cass. Like, at one point I didn't understand or know markers at all or how people could use them, and then one day I was like, I'm gonna use markers, and now it's like all I use. Hi, Sukiko! Oh! We're good. How are you? I'm so glad you guys come in today. Oh, Serenity, you are? Did you get the whole story? I'd never thought about that, though. Like, that's one of those realizations that is... Ugh. Ugh. I didn't need that today, I don't think. Ah, shit. Well... Sometimes you put a mark on your paper. That's good, Serenity. Consider yourself lucky. I feel bad for all those kids whose parents are like, yep, and we were doing this, and I remember every detail, and you're like, oh my god. Luckily, I've never had that happen to me, but I know kids whose parents are more than happy to explain for some reason. Like, that's weird. I think my main thing I'm gonna have to work on here is treating watercolor more like acrylic or something. So I just start gobbing on color. I'm too careful, man. I'm too careful, and I need to break that. Ugh. Oh, weird Mayfox. Oh, yeah, that would creep me out too. Inappropriate, Mom. No. There you go, Cass. Yeah, I think nothing happens in April, so I'm guessing my parents and Dad's late March birthday. Except I'm mid-January, so... Did I count that right? So January to December 17th. December 17th, November. November to October. October to September. September to August. August to July. July to June. June to May. May to April. So yeah. You know. No, see, Serenity, you might be. So maybe, I don't know. I think it depends on... We have to, like... assess ourselves fairly, right? Like, what do you do the worst when you watercolor that you wish you wouldn't do? Because for me, it's the too much water. So because of the too much water, I feel like I need to add more pigment. So that means I need to treat it more like acrylics and stuff. For you, maybe you don't add enough water. So... Oh, weird, Cass. Okay, so if it's too much water, we need to treat it more like acrylic and add more pigment than water. I mean, I think both of us probably take watercolor too literally. That's my guess. Also, for those that came in late, I'm going to announce it again because I'm very excited about it. I will be at FairyCon in, I'll post this online probably because I'm a dork, but I'll be at FairyCon November 9th, 10th, and 11th, and I'm going to make Gabe dress up, okay? Because he's going to be my booth babe, so... I'm thinking either making him like a little mushroom guy with a hat or an acorn dude with a hat. Like, I mean, I could make him an elf, but Gabe's not really an elf. But I'm still thinking about what to make him because he said he'd dress up, so, you know, to match my booth and my Sona, so. It's okay, Serenity, you and me both. We're in the same boat. Same boat. Yeah, right? So, I was looking online, and no one makes a cute acorn hat for adults. It's always for babies, okay? Not only that, but the acorn hats they do make for adults look like crap, and they're usually beanies. I want one that almost looks exactly like a beret, but brown, with more of a nub and a leaf. I'm gonna just make it because I'm just mad at life not having more of what I want. So that's where I stand with that. But yeah. I'm just excited to not see superheroes cast. Honestly, I'm so fried on superheroes, media, pop culture, everything. I'm so drained of it. Going to as many cons as we do. Ugh. Sukiko, how have you been? You vote mushroom. I'm glad to hear it. Okay, so I'm gonna add a little bit more green to his hat here. Make it so what I'm doing here is actually trying to balance the colors in the piece and trying not to use too many. So that comes with actually having a color palette, right? So I'm mimicking the colors here and then offsetting these colors, and then the browns and the yellows here are in there. So I'm trying to offset them within, you know, its own thing here. So damn it, I need more black. It always looks darker than it is, and then I put it on the piece and it's like, what? So I am obviously very still not used to watercolor, despite how many times I've used it. I'm still figuring things out. And that's why, honestly, watercolor is one of the hardest ones to learn. But I mean, it's worthwhile. It's just, the problem is I like defining a lot, and watercolor's not really for that. I mean, it is, but you have to be very confident with it, and the best watercolors are usually like super minimal strokes. I think Gabe says less than 3, because he got taught by someone who's really damn good at watercolor. And yeah, apparently you're supposed to just do really, like, seldom strokes, right? Super seldom. I'm trying to figure out where their hair is the most dark. It's usually on their back. Of course, that's actually black. You know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna put the black on. It's definitely too dark, but you know what? I'm getting sick and tired of how careful I am. So I'll try to clean this up with another color here in a minute, but I was like, you know, I'm just not gonna water it down, because I gotta get used to this. Yeah, fuck it. I'm using black. It actually looks like she kind of did too, but I don't know. I'm not against what Gabe said with using black. I think using black is bad. However, if you're going for a specific style, like if you look back at the field guide watercolors, that is part of the style, is to use black, because everything is a bit desaturated. So, like, let me show you. Really old ones that are dark, not the newer ones. But yeah, if I was smarter, I'd use a purple or something, but he can. You're right. Or just like a deep, deep brown. Actually, this isn't black. This is... He wouldn't let me buy black. Let me see what it is. It might be Paraline whatever. Never mind. Not only is it black, it's ivory black. So it's like black. I'll have him explain why it's okay that he let me get that, because I'm not sure. But really, can we be honest right now? It's helping me to just put down some color. Because, yeah, I'm having trouble with that, so if anything, it's helping. Gabe,
Yeah.
why did you let me buy this ivory black? People are appalled right now.
Ivory black?
Yeah.
I didn't know you bought an ivory black.
Yeah, you did. I remember even talking to you about it. Don't lie, you liar.
Ivory black?
Yeah. We bought it together. I don't buy things without you around.
Where you have the tube?
Yeah. It's in that thing. I mean, this one, unless it's like Paraline, whatever. That one.
Yeah, it's probably Paraline. I doubt it's ivory.
I don't know, man. There's an ivory black in there.
Where?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Hey. It's right in front of him.
You have sepia.
Bottom. The top ones are gouache. Bottom ones are...
Oh yeah, I don't know where this came from.
Bullshit!
I don't think you bought this.
Yeah, I did! I had to, because I think it was for... Remember we went and we bought a bunch of colors for that specific painting of the girl?
Oh, that might... Okay, for that, yeah. Because then otherwise, if you were gonna... I mean, there are some times when you need to use black, but...
There it is. Okay, now explain that to them.
The only time I would recommend you needing black is when you need to get something extremely dark. But really, I think it's because you wanted to have some really, really dark areas in the painting.
I did. Yeah.
But, I mean, otherwise there are colors out there that you can get that are...
I think Gabe doesn't want beginners to use black because it's a
Yep.
cop-out. You should know how colors mix to form black before... It's knowing the rules to break them.
Well,
It's that all over.
The biggest problem is that people will use black to make things darker.
Yeah, and that's
So-
not why you should be using black.
Yeah,
You should
no.
be using black when something is black, but usually
Yeah.
things aren't completely black.
So people will like use it like, oh, I gotta get this blue. I gotta get it a lot darker. It's like,
So
no.
Serenity in that case, when a character's hair is black, usually it sways towards either blue-black, like if they're Asian, or Gabe's hair is actually brown-black. Like it's just very, very, very dark brown. No one's hair is really black-black. Not really.
But then I guess that's also lends itself to like if you're doing inks on something, then obviously it's gonna be black hair.
Yeah, that
But
makes sense.
I mean, if you're trying to paint something, I'm not gonna say close to or not realistic, but maybe close to realistic, or just trying to get a good color thing going, good color palette going.
Yeah.
Black is gonna pop like it's not gonna be good for you unless you already are using black for shadows, like when inking.
So know when to use blue-black though, and black-brown. Because like if you were gonna do a picture of Gabe, you want to use brown-black because blue-black would make him not look like him.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So there are times to use one black versus the other. And I mean, in all my stuff, for the most part, it would probably always be a warm black. Because all my stuff is warm. And my curse and my blessing is that my table is so sepia that if I did something that was usually cool, like cool colored, it sticks out pretty hard. Like, for those of you who saw my King of the Castle piece that's just ink, I actually ended up printing that on, it's like a warm parchment paper. It's not this cold of a white. Because if I did, it's crazy. Like when I had the original at my table, no way. No way. It was too cold. And someone even said, this one really stands out. I'm like, I know. I almost wish I had like gone over the paper beforehand with a very, very light like tea or something, you know? So many people favorite that lily pad pen, but they never buy it.
Hmm.
It's got like 300 favorites, but no one buys it. Okay, so this is still wet. But I'm gonna go easy on it now because I don't want to overwork it. So I'll go in with a minute with some colored pencils. Okay, Cass. You'll probably be talking with Gabe, okay? Just so you know. For that whole thing. Because talking all three of us would be kind of a pain. Damn it. There we go. Cass, you lost your damn jacket? Why are you losing everything all the damn time?
Oh, that's the one that she lost at the airport. Or she left
I thought she lost her wallet at the airport. She did that too.
Yes. No, that was
No, both her and Sniggle did.
yeah, it was Sniggle.
Someone lost their license too. I think that was Ren. You kids, get chain wallets again if you need them. Just take the heat from people. Tapster, thank you for the follow. Welcome. Today we are watercoloring a beaver. So, I saw a beaver picture, a couple of them, and I made this beaver from all those beavers. Then I saw a piece of wood, and a few pieces of wood. So I made this wood from all those woods. I didn't even use a thing for this, honestly, for these leaves. I've just drawn the leaves a lot. Bullshit, Sniggle! You did for a minute. I'm just saying, you guys need to keep more track of your stuff. Especially if it's like a passport. If you lose your passport, you are fucked. Like, that is a pain to replace. Passports are so scary.
Pasaporte?
And for somebody like me who bad terms with their parents and stuff, I couldn't find my birth certificate, and I'm sure he didn't know where it was, so I had to go through this really stupid process of getting a birth certificate. Losing erasers is fine. That doesn't reflect on you as a person. Not like the other stuff does. Sniggle, how you been? How often do you do that medieval thing? That hemoglobin. I don't know what it is. Hema? Is it Hema or Hema? I'm gonna guess Hema. Because Hema, I think, would be 2 M's. Sniggle, what kind of an emoji would you want to use? Or do you not care? I guess there isn't really a practical application for the sub-shrub, but he's just cute. I think once I'm able to have more emojis, I would do more chibi clovers, but like me with different expressions, blah blah blah. Hema. I'm like, oh. So you did like the bee? Yeah, I think the sub-shrub will be cheering. I mean, he looks pretty cheerful. Where'd all this water come from? What's going on? What? There's a giant puddle for some reason. It's just I'm really looking forward to being able to do these ones too, because they'd be fun. I mean, who doesn't want a cute little emoji set of their face? I just wanted one with a hamster, but I don't know how to figure that out. Oh, do you, Snake? Oh, okay. For both of us? How does that work? Oh, Raven, you're sweet. I'm okay. I'm attempting difficult things right now. New difficult things, so it's probably not turning out very elegant at the moment, but you know what? That's okay. That's the purpose of learning. Learning isn't pretty. Learning involves failure, and failure's fun for you to watch, and fun for me to figure out. Oh, he Amazon Primes me, but he actually subs you.
Oh.
Sniggle loves you. Understandable, honestly. I get it. I'm with you. I know Gabe's more up your alley, and that's totally fine. Amazon subs, I think it's like half. It doesn't, I don't know. It's just like passive income, so don't even worry about it. I do want to get you guys more emojis you can use though. So I'll have those drawn out so we can at least work on them next week, and I'll show you how to actually go about in Photoshop making that, because Photoshop has some really cool things that really aid you in doing that, which, like, when I showed it to Gabe didn't even know about it. So okay, I can kind of see where this is gonna go. This isn't too bad. Right, Sniggle? And we thought about actually doing that early on, where, you know, we would actually stream as one, but then we were like, nah, yeah, that's, I don't know, like on one channel or something, and it's like, nah. Just because we are two different brands, and there might be some people that prefer his sci-fi over my fantasy, so we didn't exactly want to lump us together forcefully. We wanted to give people the option, like, you know, if you don't like fantasy, that's fine. Don't worry about it. And I mean, I hope you guys know that I'm not offended or anything at all if you like Gabe's art more than mine. That is not important to me. I do not care. And if you do, I mean, I'm at least proud of him, you know, for having so many people like his art. So there is no bad feeling whatsoever from my side of things. So sub away. Like, if you're deciding to sub between us, it really just pick your favorite. It does not matter. Was it supposed to have the screen protector?
That's what it says on the website.
I think it has it.
No, it's not.
You sure?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it's in the case. Did they give you, like, a travel case for it?
No. No, it's way too big for
Oh,
travel.
we'll just write them.
Yeah.
Write them and say. True, Sniggle. Yeah, we haven't done a dual stream in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, do you want to do your emojis together?
That'd be fun.
Would you guys want to watch that? Like a dual emoji stream where we make our emojis together? We could totally do that.
Wait, how would we do that though?
You'd just be on mine, or I'm on yours.
No, I mean in terms of digital. We'd have to
We
figure
could hook that up as another one of my monitors, and it's a display capture.
Yeah, but then the mouse.
Well, no, you wouldn't need it. You just. Oh, no.
Oh.
Yeah, that would be tough.
Oh.
Never mind. Unless we can figure out the Google Hangout thing.
Mm-hmm.
We'll try to figure it out.
Oh.
Hi, Nightshade!
Nightshade. Yeah, maybe a Halloween one would be good too.
I think we will do it on Halloween, because it's been a while since we did one of our, that'll be like one of our holiday streams. I don't know if you guys have ever seen our holiday streams, but we usually go all out. We were actually at Target last night, and on clearance, there's this man shirt, and if you're into this, go to a Target, you'll probably see it. And it's just an orange shirt with like a stupid jack-o'-lantern face on it. And I told Gabe, I'm like, you should get this for the Halloween stream. And Gabe's like, no. I was like, come on. And he's like, they won't see it. And I was like, oh yeah. Because it's basically from here down. So you wouldn't see it, but... so for anybody who hasn't been to one of our holiday streams, usually it's Gabe and I doing cheap commissions. And I mean cheap, like $20-$30, somewhere in there. And we do them live for you on the stream. And depending on if you do the lower amount or the higher amount, if you do the higher amount, at the very worst case scenario, you get a size upgrade. But if you do the higher one, you get a chance at the spin of the wheel, which gives you a chance to level up, you know, your commission or your prize. It'll go up to another level, like you get color added to it for free, or we had another one where you could pick like a book of ours to get for free. So it's not gambling, because you're for sure paying for something better, but you're getting better plus something else. So it's kind of fun. But yes, we're definitely doing a Halloween one, but if we can figure out how to also do a dual emoji one, we can usually dual stream really easily if it's both traditional. If it's both digital, we haven't really dealt with that yet. So we have to figure that out. He might actually have to be on a hangout with me where I'm capturing the video of him capturing his screen. So it's a whole thing. But anyway, we'll deal with that later. Nightshade, what kind of emoji would you want? Because I've got, since you just came here, I'm going to be redesigning my clover one, right? And then we're going to have the sub-shrub as one of them. I want him to be saying something, but I'm not sure yet. Like Shrubbit or something, I don't know. I was thinking that if there was a sub-shrub army, it'd be a shrubbery. Anyway. And then May Fox had the idea of using the bee from Hazel's story. And then I was like, oh, we could have it say, like, be nice. You know, for the people that maybe you're in a stream and someone's being a dick, you could have the be nice. Because I like emojis that have a purpose, you know? Also being cute, but also saying something or for a reason, you know? So, if you have anything you'd like to see, Nightshade, or if you can think of anything that's very much a Cloverkin stream thing, like an inside joke we all have, that would be ideal. Seeing as you're a vet here, like a Cloverkin vet, you can weigh in on that. I've got going. Like, this would be a good use for gouache, I think, at this point. So put in some more stuff. It's a little dark. Oops, wrong way. So we'll probably do that on stream next week, so you guys can see how we do that. So I feel like that's something a lot of people don't show, is how to make, you know, iconography or emojis, stuff like that. I think it's important. I'll probably end up just throwing this in my originals box at New York. Nightshade, I got in a fairy con. Is that close to you?
No,
I know you're in Michigan, but... And this is in Baltimore. I don't know. In my head, like, the U.S. is very weirdly shaped in my brain. I don't know. It's like the East Coast is shoved up against Michigan in my brain. You thought Nightshade was British? No! That's Paladin. He's Scottish. I don't know why I associate Nightshade with Paladin, but yeah. It's in Baltimore. I know it's really far for you. I'm gonna be selling some of Gabe's stuff at my table too, because for some reason he's becoming more fantasy. So I can have a lot of his stuff there. And Gabe's gonna be dressed up. So, my table, my rules. And he'll love it. How do I price what goes in my originals? So, that's really dependent on the factors I think of, at least, are how old is it, how much time did I spend on it, and how big is it. Honestly, I usually don't even think about what I use, because I mean, something done with ink could be more expensive than something done with paint, depending on how intricate it is and stuff. So I don't really take into account medium, but you could, if it took you longer to do something, that becomes time. But if it's really expensive paint or really expensive canvas, obviously take that into account. Take into account if you frame it. Gabe and my kind of first starting rule for this sort of thing is make sure you're at least getting paid like $20 an hour, at least. So if you spend an hour on something, at least $20, right? I also like to take into account how much you like it and how proud of it you are. So some of my stuff, including things that have been printed or going to be printed. So I have an original of Hazel that I actually took out of my box because I feel like either later on it could be worth more once I do the story, or it could be useful in another way, right? So I didn't want to just get rid of that yet because it has more of a future. But the stuff that are kind of just one-offs, like this poor little beaver, don't tell him but he's a one-off. I'll probably make him like $30 or something, just because he was a practice for me, he was a study. But hey, if somebody likes him and wants to adopt him, I'm not going to deny them that, So that's why I always say, like, make your studies into something you can sell, because you never know, someone might really like that thing. You might not foresee that somebody would like it, but they might. So don't deny someone the ability to buy it if they want to, right? So, cool, Nightshade. I look forward to it. It's okay, Sniggle. So Mayfox, I would take into account the $20 an hour thing at least. And then if it's older or you're not as proud of it, you can knock off like $10, $20, something like that. Depends on how big it is, things like that. Honestly, I've got something that's 9x12 about, that's just a full ink piece. It's super intricate and I hate it, but I know someone else will like it, but I didn't price it like I would for something that I'd be sad to part with. That's the other thing. So a lot of the time I will make art and just give it away. Like the minute I'm done with it, I'll frame it or put it in a little thing to sell in my originals and I'll just give it away. Because, and by give it away I mean sell. Because it's like, it's just gonna end up in a pile in a corner in my apartment, and you know what? That's selfish. Other people could really get joy out of your art. So don't hoard your art. If you don't need it anymore, just scan it at a high res, like 600 DPI, and package it up for somebody. Which, it's my King of the Castle one, Serenity. It didn't turn out how I wanted it to in my head. It was supposed to be a lot more cartoony, and it came out way too realistic. Way too realistic. And later on, I think I'm going to actually go back and try to do it the way I wanted to. But, like, the castle was supposed to be super chunky, super cute, really big stone bricks and stuff. Not what it ended up being. So, just because I don't like it doesn't mean someone else won't like it. I wouldn't deny that to somebody, Thank you! I learned a lot from it, and it was a good piece to do. There's a lot of learning there. And that's why, even if you don't like something you're doing, finish it, because you can learn something from it. And then also, it's finished, so you can sell it. But yeah, it just wasn't what my intended idea was, and that's okay. That's a lot of art, As you get older and, more advanced with your art, that's going to happen less and less because you're going to get more in tune with how to go from here to here. But every once in a while, you're still going to have a hiccup. You're human. It's okay. You're going to have off days, and that's fine. But it's always how you deal with those off days, Gabe, it's 6:15. Are you going to...
I'm waiting for her.
Okay. Yeah, like, never get down and beat yourself up about if you're having a hard time. That's never good. I always say that if you're beating yourself up about something, you're wasting time, and you need to just go do something, okay? Because there's no point to sit and cry in a corner that, oh, I didn't do this right, and this turned out like crap, oh no. No, get over it, move on, go do something new. 'Cause you're really just wasting time. Yeah, Mayfox, if you have any more questions like that, let me know. I also knew that based on how people responded on my Instagram post of the King of the Castle, that they liked it enough, and I was like, okay, well, if I get a good reception on this, I'll make prints of it so that people can at least buy the prints that are at a cheaper price than the actual original, and then if anybody wants the original, they can have that too. But you know, I gauged its interest by posting it, and like I said, even though I wasn't very proud of it, posting it with confidence regardless, always a good idea. Because, you know, you never want to self-deprecate in public, and you also don't want to do it about your art, because if somebody likes it, and I'm sitting here like, oh, this piece is horrible, I hate it, I'm embarrassed by it, and somebody likes it, that's going to make them feel bad. And then they're probably not going to buy it, you know, and you don't never want to guilt someone into giving you a compliment. Like fishing, you never want to do that. Because if you're like, yeah, I don't know, it's not that good, and they're like, no, it's great, I love it, you're so talented, blah, blah, blah. Don't do that. You're above that, don't do that. You know where you stand. You don't need anyone's validation but your own. Look at this happy beaver. Happy little boy. He didn't turn out anything like the study I was going for, but I still think he's kind of cute. So, study fail, watercolor level up a bit, and cute beaver acquired. So, for this quest, that was what I got out of it. I got some XP for my watercolor, talent tree, got a little bit more in the beaver realm, I guess, for drawing beavers. Yeah, honestly, I feel like maybe we should have a whole thing about having postmortems, even on the tiniest stuff. So for anybody that doesn't know, a postmortem is a term that's typically used in gaming, but I'm pretty sure it's used elsewhere too, where you just look back at what you created, whether it's a game, a painting, you know, a book, whatever, and you reflect on it. And you look at it with a critical eye, and you're like, what went right, what went wrong, and be honest and fair about it, right? So were I to give a postmortem on this, I would say I've, leveled up a little bit with watercolor just because I keep finding out, what I'm really guilty about, and, that in turn still gives me XP. I've drawn another beaver, so that's, +2 to beaver points, for them being one of my favorite animals. It's like, well, that's another one that you've done. But in terms of what I set out to do, this is basically when you go out to do a quest and you end up getting a bunch of other quests, and maybe you only get a couple of the things that you were setting out to find. Basically, that's what this was. So, and sometimes that's going to happen, but that's okay. And like I said, someone, when I bring this to New York, may really like him. And I'll put him in a cute little frame. And you'd be surprised. Putting things in frames really dress them up. If you've never put your art in a frame, you really should. I really think that you will give yourself a lot more credit once you see your stuff framed. Same thing where when you make your first book, that pride level, seeing it as something final, nothing can compare to that. Nothing can compare to that. It's so cool. That's awesome, Mayfox. That'll be great. Are you going to do kind of a play-by-play on your Instagram? Oh, really nice, Shane? Was it on the stream? Yeah, she was really great about that. That was really funny, actually, how that happened. So that mushroom house that I made, here, got it on my Instagram. After I make a piece, I'll usually put it up for sale, right? This one, though, I just put up, and it's actually kind of older, but like this was one of my first watercolors that I started getting into when I was actually trying to get better at watercolors. But this one's for sale. It's 8 by 10. But Mary really liked this piece, and I was at Dragon Con, and this was out on my table, and Mary contacted me via DMs on Instagram, and she was like, hey, do you still have that mushroom house piece? And I was like, yeah, it's on my table. She's like, I want that, you know, how much for it? And then, you know, she also wanted a couple prints too. So I technically took her order at Dragon Con. So the only bad thing is I had gone from Wisconsin to Georgia with this in my luggage, so I was a little scared bringing it back home, but it ended up fine. And then once I got back home, I packaged up everything and I sent it to her. But it was just funny that I was like taking an order while at my table at Dragon Con. But yeah. Oh, that's great, Nightshade. I would love to go see that. I'll bring it up so I can actually go look afterwards. She's so nice. I got to meet her at Gen Con. She's amazing. And then she was telling me, she's like, oh, I really want to do wood burning on all this wood that, you know, on your frame. And I was like, that'd be awesome. Do it. It'd be so cool. Oh, really, Nightshade? I could see that. You should send him a picture of that. I bet that would warm his heart. Yeah, frames do so much to an art piece. And actually, this was really cool. So one of my favorite artists right now, Floral Fox, I think it's a she, I'm not sure. But she's been framing her stuff like this, and I dig this so hard. And I've seen people do this before where they put a couple hooks there and they just hang it kind of super simple like that. And I think I want to start doing that. However, I'm wondering if I should do it for prints or originals. The only problem with doing it with originals is that it's exposed. So I would almost want to find a way not to laminate it, but to put it in a sleeve that... It's hard to find sleeves that aren't tinted or super glossy. That would be my only fear with doing an original, but man, I would love to do this. I think this, like, and actually to make my own wood bits so it looks like this kind of wood, where it's all kind of gnarly and stuff. I would love that. If I could find some driftwood or something. Oh, I like how simple that is, you know? Oof. There's a little beaver. There we go. Partner's going to, so that's two of us. Good, May Fox, cool. Okay, so if you ever get in the situation where you don't have any business cards left, or you don't have time to make any, make a sign that people can take a picture of. This is I actually learned this from both Tim and Sean. I always have business cards, so I never have this problem. But if you do, always save one left, you know, so you've at least got one, and have them take a picture of it. And honestly, in the past maybe 3 or 4 cons this year, more people are just taking pictures of business cards instead of taking them because they don't want to have to lug things around. They know they're going to lose them. And what is sad is at the end of some conventions, I can think of Emerald City this year and I think Heroes. I was walking out of the con and I saw my cards on the floor. Like some people had like, and you're like, damn it. So, I mean, more people are taking pictures of them, which I think is smart. So if you are prone to losing stuff, maybe take pictures of people's cards instead. But, hey Emily, don't worry about it. I was actually only planning on going to 6, but I don't know, I feel like doing more right now. So, this was a failed study, but it still ended up being a cute little dude. So, I'm not totally upset with it, but I'm not totally pleased with it either. Which, you know, I think that's a fair post-mortem, right? And I think that's extremely important for artists to do, is to be fair to themselves. You know, it's the same thing as being nice to yourself and kind of loving yourself that people have been kind of on this kick lately about. Oh, Mayfox, you're welcome. So, also, just so you know, let me get something for you. So, if you even want to level it up even more, so you can buy these at like Office Depot and stuff. Okay, these are 8x11 things. They can get kind of expensive and they're really scary to travel with. I have finally perfected the art of traveling with these so that they don't get smashed or ruined. But oh my god, every time it's a heart attack. But if you're not, or if you don't have to worry about taking these on a plane or anything, if you're going to drive, they're great. So these are probably maybe 10 to 15 bucks, somewhere in there. It depends on if you get the acrylic or kind of a cheaper plastic, but you can get these. However, if you do have some business cards eventually, they sell ones with business card attachments, which are really nice. Also very scary to travel on a plane with. I usually put them in my backpack, and it's super stupid looking, but at least then I know that no one in TSA or anything is going to destroy them. I've had 5 of these gone bad. Anyway. But on the front here, I say what cards I accept. I accept Square. And then I have a business card that's in here, 2 of them. One that's glued on the front and one that's glued the back way. So they can take a picture of this regardless of if I have any in here. And you'd be surprised. I get people coming up all the time who are like, do you have a card? And I kind of just point to this. And it's like, they're like, oh. So here's another tip too. Once you do get business cards, and this is going to sound super weird, but have them nicely in one of those, and then on another spot on your table where maybe you can't fit any more art or anything, put a whole bunch of them down and mess them up. Okay? Don't put them down really neatly. Okay? I'm going to tell you why in a minute. But having a nice pile of them so that people don't feel like they're taking your last one, and then making sure it's a messy pile, because you will get people who, and maybe some of you are like this, a little OCD, and while they're at your table, without even thinking about it, they'll be looking at your stuff and reorganizing your cards. I've watched this happen. It's crazy. So if I only have like 5 or 6 out, and they're kind of close to being in a line or something, these people will come by my table and actually like line them up. So I always make sure that there's a pile that they couldn't possibly organize that's a little bit messy, so they know they can just take one. Because otherwise they think that I had originally put them out nice and they got messed up, which is never true. I put them out to be messy so they know they can take them. Plus, it's eye-catching if the rest of your table is really organized and nicely laid out, and there's this one spot that's a mess. Your eye goes to that. It's one of those things. You know, I don't know. It's not manipulation so much as it is just a tactic, right? I mean, it's trying to get yourself out there, you know. Oh yeah, definitely Nightshade. Oh, that's cool. Oh, he'll love that. You did great. That's a really nice frame. Yeah, you guys gotta not do that to people's tables, because you know who I am? Once you leave, I put my hand down and I just go, because really it all blends together. If you spend a lot of time, like me, setting up your table, and you put your frame pieces up, and they're all really nice, and they've got a nice little cadence to them, and there's, you know, a gradation of where, you know, some dark things are and some light things are. You spend a lot of time making your table nice, right? And then certain parts of it, you know, you mess up so that it catches their eye. It's just, it's not a philosophy. It's psychology, you know, you're not doing it to get anything out of people, but you know, it's just smart. I'm not playing to their weaknesses. They don't have to fix it. But I usually do try to keep a bunch out so that they don't feel compelled to organize them. It's just funny. I always, it's almost like, has anybody seen Batteries Not Included? It's one of those things where like, or just in general, where some sprite or something will come out at night and fix all your things. So I'll be talking to somebody for a while and then I'll see them off and then I'll look down and they just organized it. And I always have a chuckle. It's cute. If nothing else, it's cute. But yeah, so when I have my like convention mentorships and stuff, this is the type of stuff I talk about. You know, when you're setting up your system, and you know what? I forgot to show you guys this. That there are things to think about the way you set up your entire thing, you know? I thought you guys might get a kick out of this. I finally did a step-by-step of how I set up my table. Because I feel like I never really showed you guys how that happens. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So, let me get down in here. So this was at SuperCon. It was a really bad con, but that doesn't matter. So I came there with all my stuff is in 2 of these, a rigging bag that's probably about this long that Gabe and I put our rigging stuff in. It's like a microphone stand bag. And then we have really big things that we can't, it's hard to explain. Like our book stand is really big. It's like 24 by 32, so it doesn't even fit in these, so we put just that in our clothing luggage. But all my books are in here, all my signage, all my prints, everything are in these 2, okay? And then the first thing I do is I put down my tablecloth, right? And then here I've put the rigging up, and then I have 2 vinyl banners, and they look kind of jank right now, but as they get warmer, they smooth out because they're outdoor vinyl banners, so they do that. So I put them up like this, and depending on what size table I have, it's going to actually change. So I made these banners with notches in them so that at their best, they can fit an 8-foot table and have about 2 feet in the middle, so one's 3 feet, the other's 3 feet, and then I get about 2 feet in the middle for myself because you know I kind of stand in it. So I've got these, right, and I keep them half mast, I'll say, half down until I get stuff on them, and then I put on the things like this, like my banner. Then I just put a cross, and I actually hook that up with zip ties and things that go around the top bar. Okay, and I tape that onto the back of the banner, and then I have these really big industrial magnets that I actually put, like I pasted on a little like wood grain that's this entire wood grain here, and I put that on there so they look like bolts, right? And then I put anything up that is going to be hard for me to put up when it's at its full height, right? So the Pet and Armor portraits. I also have this blank, so I can change it if I need to, which I've had to do many times. And then depending on if it's Christmas or not, how full I am on them, I'm going to need to change the price. So I made that banner with that in mind. So up here I usually put, you know, Twitch, and then the other side over here, this is going to be all my prints, right? This gets kind of difficult. If I were smarter and not as stubborn, I would do all my prints the same size so it's a nice grid. But I like doing whatever I want, so every time I do it, it's basically Tetris. You'll see in a minute. So then once I've gotten this far, that's when I put those things up, and then I'm going to raise it up here in a minute. But then this is where, okay, so I put that sign up then, I got the Twitch sign up, and I started putting on the prints that are going to be high up, right? And then this is all my other junk. These cat print boxes, so I get all my prints from cat print, and then I reuse the boxes for traveling with. They're fantastic. They're really good cardboard, they're super heavy, they protect a lot of stuff. I love them. They're great. And then I put my leaves up here. These are really hard to travel with on a plane. They always get checked. And I'm sure it's because they look like I'm smuggling pot or something. But I always write fake leaves in the bag and it doesn't matter. They always get checked, which is fine. I'd rather have that, but it's more funny than anything. And then, let's see, I think that's basically it. let me show, oh, yeah, and then a final here. So I was right next to Key. So Key's setup is interesting because she has these things that come down. So she's got a bar and then things that come down on either side so she can fit more prints in there. So that was interesting having right there, but otherwise, usually it works out fine. Not many people do that. It is a nice separator though between tables. So I've got my original art here. I was getting kind of low on it at the time. And then I usually have some frame pieces. I put up my prints. I had forgotten my print sign, so I had to make one. I highly suggest any signage you make and you print. Never handwrite anything. I guarantee you it'll always look better printed. And then you can have a consistent font. And like I said, usually I do have that, and it's all like this stuff. So you can see, like, I have the same thing all across here. So then I have these two things out here, which are examples of my pet and armor portraits. So that's another tactic too, having things at multiple levels and areas of your table. So over here, back here, while people are looking through this, I have a pet and armor portraits flyer, just in case they never get this far and see this one, or look up, because there are people at conventions that always look up, always look down. Very few people do both, right? And you may be thinking to yourself right now, which kind am I? Usually I'm the down type. I'm always looking down, right, at the table. But really, you gotta take in someone's full table, because the way I set mine up, these are prints, these are originals, I've got some stickers over here and postcard things, books, and then the commissions and portraits. And usually this is a nice sign for just, in general, the fact that I do commissions of all kinds, not just pet portraits. So it's one of those things. But May Fox, as you can see right here, I've got that take a card thing, and it's right in the center. And usually I'll have on the edge of the table, yeah, so later on, see how I have a lot of space here? Sometimes space is good, but I wanted to have more cards over here, so I ended up putting them over there. I also had to end up making a sign that said, "Pick us up, we're demo books." Because people didn't know that these are demo books, which is interesting. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Were I to level this up again, because when I stand here, I'm about at that height, if not having a little bit more headroom. Yeah, so here's the full shebang, I guess. I would really like to get something behind me like I do now. Like if I could do this, so I just kind of stick in there, that'd be nice, because all this is just busyness, you know, and I feel like when they come to my booth, it'd be nice to just, like, we're cozy in here, right? It's okay. Don't worry about everything that's going on around. I want it to be like a little sanctuary, right? The problem is I can only do this if I drive to conventions, because this is another giant thing to bring, like huge, right? So that's what I'd like to do. I've thought about ways to actually have it come off my rigging and go backwards and then have just a sheet, but that's another bit of engineering that I'll have to figure out, but that can get tough. So anyway, that's kind of the psychology behind my booth. Sometimes too, and I think you'd see it right here. So I got lucky, and sometimes you will. If the, like Dragon Con, I did this too. Sometimes the skirt they give you actually works with your motif. So instead of taking the green all the way down to the floor, which I normally do, I incorporated the skirt into my palette because it kind of is part of my palette. So it worked out really nice to have that duality there. So hopefully this was a little bit educational. And then there are people that look like this. So, hey Nano, I'm just going over some stuff right now. So this guy also wears a shirt with all of the faces on it. But for those of you who know my anger with fan art, this is kind of what you can expect. So all of these are different properties. He's just done faces of. Some are Disney, some are Star Wars, Pixar, Sailor Moon. He even puts them on the floor. I've seen him probably at about 4 cons now, and this was the first time I could actually get a good picture of it. But this is too far, you guys. Like, even in terms of readability, like fan art aside, in terms of just readability, brand, I have seen this guy multiple times. I still don't know what his name is. I think it's up here. You can't even see that. I still don't even know what his name is. But that's his setup. And like I said, he goes to a bunch of cons like this. I don't even know how he does it. Or how he brings... I'd want to ask him how many of each one he brings, because that would be ridiculous. But just in terms of readability, you guys have heard of less is more, right? Like, sometimes I'll feel like my setup is busy, you know? And then I think of him, I'm like, no, I'm okay. But there are things that where this gets too busy. Like, if I don't have this gutter space around all my prints, it does get a little bit harder to read when you don't have some breathing room around them. And I had to do that at Dragon Con, and the times I have 6-foot tables, it's tough. But like I said, I've got notches in these 3-foot wide banners here, so I can actually fold over a foot of it behind it, so I can make it work for 6 feet. It's just harder. So that means I end up losing this bit right here and some over here as well. And I lose some in the middle here. Usually then, like, this goes away, and I'm a little bit more cramped. But I can make it work for 6 foot and 8 foot. But that one guy, that's a job. I'll tell you what. Oh, thank you, Nano. That makes me so happy. You guys still like it then? I always like to ask, like a few months later, do you still like the art? Do you still enjoy it? I hope so. That's really nice. I'm so glad. Okay, so we did the beaver today. And we talked about the post-mortem of that. Let's see. I could just do... Oh yeah, so Nano, that's actually now a kind of an exclusive piece. So if I do sell that in the future, sometimes I'll give out like the free prints to kind of gauge if people like them and stuff. This year it's a turtle, but when you got the bird, that's like the smaller free version of that. And then if I decide to at some point, I might sell a big version of it. But you got the free one, man. You got, like, that could be just one of a kind. I might not decide to ever do that one as a print, so, you know, the fact that one exists. And I think I'm going to do that every year. I'll have a free print that, you know, you can get with purchase. Oh, I'm glad you like it. That's great. Alright, now instead of doing an animal, let's look up something else. I still need to practice because I don't know what she's using here, but I love it. Let's do a raspberry. I need to practice raspberries for one of my stories, so let's do a raspberry. Oh, and they have really cute leaves too. Oh, you guys, raspberries are adorable. Oh my god. Okay. Nano, how you been? How's streaming? You've been good? Maybe let's do this one. Okay, yeah. Alright, so in a lot of the watercolor artists I admire lately, they do not even draw it out. Unless I just can't see it. Maybe they're doing it that way, but oh my god, raspberries are so cute. Streaming, the only 3 HD. Only 3? Girl, you crazy. No, I think that's good. I think it's good sometimes to have less stream. Which reminds me, Serenity, are you still here? Sorry, I forgot to mention something earlier. 3-ish days is still a lot if you think about it. I think that's fine. I think you're doing great. Gabe and I still stream Monday through Thursday, when we're not doing the conventions. It's been good. It's been a really busy year. I'm looking forward to next year being a lot more lax and me being able to do a lot more of my book stuff on streams. So that's going to be good. And I think coming up next week, we're going to probably be working on emojis because we still don't have some of our emojis. But also I'm going to start working on my Journey June story on stream so we can still continue doing that together. No, that's fine, Nano. I think 2 is more than fine. Okay, so yeah, Serenity, I asked if you were here, and Emily, this will answer your question too. So, Gabe was here for most of the stream, by the way. He's talking to somebody on the phone right now. But, so we stopped doing Saturdays and Sundays for the summer. Okay, we'll probably go back to doing them in the winter, though I don't want to promise anything, because it's been nice having that more of a break. But we stopped doing it, I think, in the beginning of June? Somewhere in June, I think. Because what was happening is we noticed a very large change in attendance. So it seems like more people come to streams in the winter, because the summer everybody's out and about. So we were thinking, well, let's take out Saturdays and Sundays for the summer and then go back to them, potentially in the winter. So we'll have that. Soggy! 15! Damn! And for those coming in, I'm going to be making emojis. And I'm remaking one too. I'm going to remake the Clover into more of a character. Because right now, I'll put it in the chat, the Clover is really dry. So I'm going to make that into a character. I'm bringing in the Sub-Shrub, which is our boy here. And he's going to be here for Soggy in a minute. And then I wanted something else that was very Cloverkin, but I didn't want something I wanted. I want something you guys want that you can actually use in streams and that has maybe a purpose to it. And Soggy, maybe you have an idea for this, but I had one that was no trolls, but I didn't really like that was so negative and blah blah blah. So Mayfox thought of using my bee from Hazel's story and having it say nice, so be nice. I like that one, just in case someone's being really mean in a stream somewhere and you can be like, hey, throw in the emoji. But I was also thinking of ones with Clover's face, or including the ham and Kukui, so Broham, ham up. But I don't know. Someone said blessed by the moss. As much as I like it, I don't want it to look like it's religiously charged. So, I don't know. If anybody, Soggy, you've been here for a long time, so you know all of our inside jokes and stuff. You can think of something that's that I can't even think of right now, because Gabe and I tried to think of this, and we were just coming up with inside jokes he and I have, instead of just Twitch specific things, which is what you guys are for. You know more than I do about, honestly, my stream. You see a different side of me than I'm seeing right now. So if there's something that you think would be suited for the stream, or that you'd like to use elsewhere that calls back to the stream, of course people were saying the fan art thing, but I don't want that to be my brand. That's a facet of me, but that's not me specifically. You know what I mean? Anyway, all right, you get 15 Sub-Shrub Nub Rubs. You ready? You get to make a wish. All right, I'm gonna do it. So get ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I hope you made a wish, Soggy. Thank you for another month of patronage. Here's Melancholy Clover. He only comes out once in a while. I will be making a new Sub-Shrub that's very me, and not necessarily using someone else's design. Sorry, Sanex. As much as I love you, I don't want to have you as a crutch. But yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Soggy. I'm always happy to have you here. You know that. You're my #1 troll. maybe, Serenity. When's your birthday? Oh no, Soggy. Being out of tortillas is terrible. I had to stop eating tortillas because apparently I have a gluten thing. I thought it was a fucking myth. No. October 6th. Ugh. Actually, we're gonna be in New York. October 6th is Saturday of New York Comic Con, so we're gonna be gone probably the 3rd to the 8th of October. So we won't even be streaming on your birthday. I'm sorry. On shitty toast. Oh, Soggy. You poor boy. It's okay, Serenity. We'll still give you the cupcake, though, when we come back or before we leave. I'll try to remember, okay? You remind us. Before we leave for New York, remind us. We'll have the cupcake sing. Alright, so I'm just going to do another watercolor study here real quick. But again, I want to make something that could potentially be a product that somebody could buy and want, so I'm not going to just make them, you know, standalone bad. I'm going to at least make them look like a composition, you know, a piece. Because you can incorporate studies into any sort of, you know, final piece. Don't forget that. Everything has the potential to be something more. So don't just draw arms on a sheet. Think about even, I don't even know if Tim knows he does this, but Tim's one collector piece, if anybody's been keeping up with Tim's stuff, technically those are all arm studies, but he's making an entire composition of it, right? So in the end, that's going to be something he can sell. And as an artist, you want to be thinking about your time being well spent in the right areas. So if you need to do studies, instead of just doing them all discombobulated and here, there, everywhere in your sketchbook, try to make pieces that revolve around the study, but are still a full piece, you know? No, Serenity, you're not demanding. You're a regular. You get good treatment. All my VIPs, those of you who are my regulars, you should get special treatment, I feel like. Oh, Soggy, no. I'm so sorry. That bad of a day, huh? I hate bad days. I was really cranky today in the beginning for no reason. And I got back from going to the store and Gabe's like, hey, how'd it go? I'm like, don't talk to me right now, I'm cranky. And I think, you know, when you're in a relationship and you at least see each other all the time, being straightforward is just the best you can be. So, you know, instead of trying to muscle through it and be like, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, instead just telling him, nope, you gotta give me some time. I don't know why I'm cranky, but I am cranky. He's like, okay. And then, you know, later on, I was fine. I just needed some time. That's all. And that's important. Serenity, no. Soggy, you already have a cheese emoji. Come on. Someone else did that. I think I even have one that's like a default. Where is it? There's like a stinky cheese, isn't there? Yeah. Use this. I'm not making you a cheese one. That one's already made. I can't do better than that. Look at that. That's beautiful. Okay. So this is a good couple of them. Oh. Okay. Yeah, let's try this. This is good. Yeah, you guys, it's okay. For all those of you who are sad today, I'm sorry. I'm sorry it was hard today. Rest assured, tomorrow will most likely 80% chance be better, you know? Try not to get too down or let it affect your actual life. It was just one day. No, Serenity, you know what? That's okay though. some days for some people are going to hit them differently, and some days for you will even be different. Like, I remember not too long ago, I had a big fight with Gabe, and it was over something stupid. Like, I was being dumb, right? And it was one of those things, like, any other day of the year, not a big deal. But for some reason, that day, that one thing hit me harder than any other day. And at the end of the day, I apologized for that, obviously. But for the time being, I was being horrible, you know? And there was no good reason for it, because I knew. And it's one of those things where you're so angry that you keep being angry because you think you should be. But I knew any other time I wouldn't have cared. It's just one of those things. And sometimes, it's hormonal. Other times it's not, and it's just, it sucks. So you just gotta, I think that's one of those things where it's like you gotta be forgiving of yourself. You're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days. Some days are gonna be like other days, but different, and that's okay. Life isn't about one day. It's about all the days. So remember that. You'll be okay. $20. She's right. Serenity right. Losing money is always upsetting. Yikes, Nano. That sucks too. See, and I feel like this is another one of those good parts of Twitch where you can log on and talk to people about, man, this sucked with my day. And they're like, yeah, that does sound like it sucks. And you guys can share in kind of the misery of it, right? But that's cathartic. That's what you need at the time. You need to talk to people about, yeah, this sucks. And they're like, right? And sometimes that's all you need. Oh yeah, fighting is normal. It's when you stop fighting that you should be worried. If no one wants to fight anymore because it's just too much, or that really tells you it's not worth it anymore, is when you stop fighting. Like, that's when you should really be scared. I feel like fighting does have purpose most of the time, except the time I was talking about where I was being terrible. Everybody's terrible at some point. You have a bad day, something hits you wrong, you remember something randomly, there's so many things. And as long as you find someone who kind of not necessarily empathizes with you, but they, can understand that you're having a day. And I think that's usually what Gabe and I say. Like, I'm just having a day. And then it's like, oh, we know, and then you just understand, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You're allowed to have days. And if you're with someone who doesn't share that or thinks you should be perfect all the time, that's not normal. That's not healthy. They're expecting you to be more superhuman or perfect than you are. And that, like I said, that's not okay. That's not healthy. Everybody should be allowed some leeway, because everybody, reacts differently. And then things get even more complicated if you've got, mental issues and things like that. Like, everything is taken into account, you have to take everything into account. Not everybody is you, you're not everybody, everything with a grain of salt, don't blanket people, that sort of thing. Be fair, Oh, it's crazy, Nano. Hey, Nano, do you go to FairyCon at all? Do you know about it? You're over on the east. FairyCon. Hold on. I drew a picture because I got excited. I kind of got invited to FairyCon, but didn't at the same time. Like, I'm going to FairyCon, and it's in November, it's the 9th through the 11th. So if you're into dark crystal or know about the frauds or anything like that, FairyCon is huge for that. So I got into that. I found out yesterday. So Gabe and I will be doing that. So I'm excited because that's one that I've been pining for. Not necessarily actively trying to get into yet because they haven't been the best about explaining when it, opens for applications. But apparently they are full up, and when I saw one of their mailing list emails, I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably apply for that, and that was like less than a week ago. And apparently they've been full since last December, and they contacted me, and the lady was like, yeah, we think you should be here. And I was like, well, that's great, because I'm an elf everywhere all the time. I would very much like to be in a place where obviously, other people are being that, right? So, because Corey Godby at HeroesCon was all like, I'll be a guest at HeroesCon this year. I'll try to put in a word for you. I don't know if he did or not, but he told me he'd try, because he's seen me in a few cons, and he's always like, you're always an elf. I'm like, yeah, it's part of my thing, but I can't seem to get in a fairy con because it's a really hard con apparently to get into, and I had no idea. So that's a thing. So I don't know, I feel pretty good about it just because it's one of those things I've been trying to get to because I think I'd do well at, and so it's exciting. And I'm gonna have Gabe dress up because he's gonna be probably my booth babe, so I need him to be thematic, on theme. But anyway, thought I'd share the info again. Sorry for those who have heard it like 3 times now. I'm excited. Thank you, Emily. I'm very excited. I was like, well, if Gen Con was this good, hopefully it's great. Right, Sagi? Yeah, I thought it was funny. Because I asked her, I'm like, it's in Baltimore. Sorry, I forgot to mention. But, yeah, I don't know. It was just funny. Oh, God, Sagi, that's so good. It's about time. That's fantastic. That person is on point. They know what they're doing. Those are dry. I'm going to turn my fan on again so that this watercolor will dry quicker as I do it. Also, Gabe got his hue on today. I think that's how you say it. That's the alternative to all the Wacom technology stuff with the companions and everything. So he'll do a report on that next week on probably his Monday stream. He'll probably have had enough time to get used to it by then. But so far he seems to like it. But I'm telling all you guys that think you need, a Cintiq or whatever to make your art better. Remember to not get tools to make your art better. Make your art better on your own, and then earn those tools when you know what you need them for, that's more important. So I'm gonna have to add in some more red here, because this is a pretty drab raspberry. Drabsberry, am I right? So did you watch the thing then on the Apple Watch, Sagi? I can't figure out what I would need one of those for. I don't. Like, my Fitbit's enough for me, and I'm okay with that. I know they're getting cell technology. I think that's what, Gabe had told me, which is okay. I almost wonder why they didn't have that before, because I honestly thought they did have that in the watches. I don't know. But I just know I wouldn't need it. Oh, night, Soggy. Be well. Oh, good, Emily. That's fantastic. New paper's always exciting. I don't care who you are. New paper's exciting. Feel better, Soggy. Sorry you had a shit day. How did I miss that? Oof, oof, oof. Anybody got anything exciting coming up? I know May Fox has that art show thing. That sounds cool. I think for New York, now don't quote me on this, but I think for New York, I'm gonna do more stories as we get there and go through all the process, so you guys can see what it's like going into like New York Comic Con and, you know, kind of seeing what we see, and kind of the whole, I'm not gonna say the pain of it, but you know, everything has its ups and downs, and sometimes traveling to conventions is extremely tiring. So I'll probably try to share that on my Instagram. So that would be on October 3rd. Would probably be when we're setting up, I think. I think we'd be setting up on the 3rd. So I'll try to keep more of a diary of that. Like a day at New York Comic Con or something, or a couple days. The unpaid part sucks, Serenity, but if you've got nothing else really going on, maybe it'll be okay. You know, maybe that'd be a good foot in the door thing, so they get to know you better, you know. I don't know, it's up to you. If you think that's worth it and you do want to be part of that community, I mean, that's probably a worthwhile project to do, as long as you're not, you know, doing anything you don't want to do, or, you know. So if you want to do it, have fun with it. Yeah, I need to just put a giant blob of red in here. Oh. So they just keep re-asking you every year, or how does that work? There we go. Put some red in there. So it's in the sun on this side, so that means it's going to be higher contrast and more saturated. Remember that. I could even probably put some orange in this, because the sunlight would be making it a little bit orange. Also, my thing's tilted, so you guys still see this okay? That's cool though, Serenity. I'm proud of you. However, I think at this point, if they usually pay people, maybe you should be like, hey, so I've been doing this for 4 years now. Is there ever any pay involved? Or, you know, can I get compensated? And maybe you could get compensated through like the game and get some in-game money if you want, you know, if they don't mind doing that. But, you know, maybe there's a different way to get paid for it, just so you could actually get some pay for it. Because it kind of sucks that after 4 years they're still not paying you. That's kind of weird. Oh, okay. That's a different story then. Well, whatever you're comfortable with. How about that? So as long as you know, maybe next year, let's say, for whatever reason, maybe next year, something blows up this year, and next year you become like the commission person, you know, and people are like, oh, I could do my character, blah, 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 or something. My D&D character, Serenity, could do it. And, you know, you get known for that, and maybe you'll just blow up. You know, you never know. And so next year you won't even be able to do the calendar because you'll be so busy. You know, that's a possibility. Oh, Serenity. Sub-Shrub can do it all. He's the guy. Okay, so for those that were stuck around with me earlier in the stream, when I did that beaver piece, something was wrong. I couldn't figure out what I was doing different that, you know, was making it so my leaves didn't end up looking similar to the ones I was trying to use as a study. I just leveled up, and you'll know usually when you mentally level up. It's a good feeling, but part of it was the thinness of the veins. Because right now I took a chance. I was like, well, I'll start drawing in these really dark spots, right? Turns out these are part of the reason that the other ones I drew with the beaver didn't look like they were supposed to. So right there, you guys saw me level up. And that's in between two pieces, right? And I mean, these wouldn't take me as long as they have been if I was, you know, wasn't talking and stuff too. I probably would have done them in half the time, but I like talking to you guys too. Don't think it's a bad thing. It's just these wouldn't normally take you very long to do yourself, you know. And if they do, that's okay, but you do want to kind of keep them short. The whole idea of keeping things short when it comes to studies and doing just pieces like this in general is it's going to force you to look at the most important aspects to actually get down and to record those. Whereas if you don't give yourself a time limit, you're not going to really have a priority list, a visual priority list for this thing. You're just going to say, I need to draw this thing. Well, it's not about necessarily drawing the thing, it's about drawing the aspects of that thing, if that makes sense. You know? Oh, that looks a lot darker than it is. Those look really dark, but they're not. Oh, God, that's true. Serenity, I still have to find that. I know it's in one of our boxes. We still haven't fully unpacked because we got so busy right away when we moved here. But, you know. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Emily. I know some of you are probably sick of my playlist I've had for years at this point. I did add some new songs. I'll make sure it's next on the list here. But I've been trying to find new worthy songs, you know, so. Aw, Jelly, hi! Welcome. How's your day going? So you don't need too much space, Serenity. It's kind of funny. You'd think you would need more, but you really don't. Yeah, Emily, it is, especially like good stuff. I don't want to be mean about royalty-free stuff, but it is hard to find like high-tier stuff, which honestly, that's one of those things. Like you can think about it in terms of art. You can find free art, but it's not going to be the best art, right? Good art you're going to have to pay for. But when it comes to music, music's so much more difficult. Same with fonts. I feel bad for typographers and musicians because their stuff is a lot harder to kind of pin down, you know? Oh no. Well, Serenity, it might be a good thing then that you clean up your workspace. Sometimes it's really cathartic. Sometimes you need it, you know? Cursing paper that wants to suck up your pigment. Uh-oh. I'm having kind of the opposite problem. I have trouble using too much water and not enough pigment, so I keep fighting that. It's funny because I am impatient, but I feel like whenever I actually am watercoloring, I want to do a layer and a layer and a layer because I'm too scared. So my problem is I need to get over that fear and actually just go for it, which I did with these dark spots. I felt like I leveled up there. And then the berries, I put a giant water red on it, but I used too much water, so it kind of went away. So I'll just put that back up there. Because this part's in the sun, so that means it's more contrasted and higher saturation. And sorry Gabe's not here right now, he's on the phone. He was here earlier, but he had to go. Prior engagements. Oh, see, this one's still wet now. Damn. Are you really? Oh my god. I did that so long ago. Dry for... Oh god. See? Try this different. And this is still one of those pieces where it's okay to just experiment, you know? Oh my god, this is way too blown out. It does not look like this on my sheet, you guys. I don't know why. It's more of a raspberry red and not so much a cherry red. Sorry about that. It sucks because when you do traditional stuff, depending on what you're doing, you have to change your camera every time. So like this camera setup right now works really well for ink because of, you know, the saturation and all that stuff, but I forgot to switch it over for watercolor. So apologies. Remember, even if a study fails, it doesn't mean it's a failed piece. It just means it's a failed study. You know, I always think about when I'm like, oh, this is starting to look like crap, even though I don't do that anymore. I just think it still looks better than some modern art. Modern art drives me up the wall. I know there's some of it that has like actual meaning and like a process behind it, which I can respect. Like Tim had actually told me about this one modern art piece where this guy had done this really beautiful like Renaissance piece, right? And it was really, really good. So the gallery was like, hey, you know, can we have this? And the guy was like, yeah. But like the night before he gave it to them, he totally just like painted blue over the entire thing and just like ruined it. But in his eye, he was like, there was a masterpiece there. Like, I feel like the idea of modern art is getting across that sort of thing, you know, where there's a story there. Like, so that was displayed with people knowing that there's a masterpiece underneath it, you know, underneath all that blue. And that's kind of a cool idea. Like, I get that. I kind of respect that. It's got a story there, but at the same time, not all modern art has that, and I think that's where I get fed up. Or when someone tries to retrofit some meaning into something, but they had just seriously drawn squiggly lines in the beginning, that's where I kind of check out. And I'm like, no. No. And you can usually tell when an artist is bullshitting, but yeah, usually I'm like, no. No. Thank you, Serenity. Right? Like, yeah, I like this one. This one's nice. But it's one of those things like, you know, while you're painting or doing anything, try to be consciously thinking, okay, this is what I did last time. What do I need to do different this time? Right? Like, think about it. Consciously think about it. And that's why I feel like a lot of people don't do, and why a lot of people stay at the same level for years and years and years. They don't question themselves. They don't question their choices with what they do. All that. Like, they just keep going through the same motion. And I think that's really detrimental as a learning habit, you know, that you're not learning because you're not, you know, thinking about a piece while you're doing it, but also after you're done with it, reflect on it. Well, what did I learn from this? What was the point of it? Did I hit that? Did I hit the goal? Just do postmortems of things, you know? I'm not even saying to do it for art, because, I mean, technically we do it with every meal we make, if you think about it. Like, was that good or bad? That was really bad. Oh, it needed more salt. Oh, okay, that's why. Alright, next time. I mean, just think of your art like you're cooking. You know? Yeah, and I guess if you're questioning too much, that can be bad too. Just make sure you're level-headed about it and it's not emotionally charged. Picture that you're someone else looking over your shoulder and being like, okay, that should probably be darker because, you know, you look at where it is, that shadow, this, that, or the other thing, that should probably be darker. Don't have it be you being like, oh, I'm so bad at blah and blah, blah, blah. Like, that can be harmful, you know? That's not helping, you know? So you want to help yourself. Don't hurt yourself. Hopefully that makes sense. I think it makes sense. But yeah, I think it's always good to just question decisions you make. Question decisions you make, regardless of what they are. Just think 2 more seconds about stuff and be like, well, maybe that is a good idea. Also, Gabe found this the other day in one of my stuff. Every year I do a new, like a new self-portrait of myself, you know? This one was 31, so it was over a year ago. Because I'm 32 right now, so it wasn't this year, it was the year before. And I did a quick one because I knew I must not have had time. Oh, it's Gregor. So this was an early one. This is before I started actually rounding the edges of Cloverkin's hair. But otherwise, it's still pretty much the same. But I don't know, I don't like to draw myself usually. But since I started the Cloverkin character, it's been more fun because I don't see it as me, but it is me. But every year I think it's important to kind of catalog yourself. You know, whether you have a retrospective moment where it's just you thinking about where you were, something like that. Anyway, okay. So, do I want to outline this? At some point, I want to get good enough with watercolor where I don't need to use my colored pencils. That would be my goal. Do you guys have any goals like that? That's good, though. Serenity, that's really good. Your concepts look like that? That's what they're supposed to look like. That's a concept. Good job, you've done it. But, like, I feel like it's, I want to get better at just having definition. I suppose I could be doing this part right now with paint, but I don't know why I'm not, actually. I probably should next time. I already put away my brushes, but that would make more sense, wouldn't it? Time is it? 7? Oof. Alright, so I'm probably gonna go. Does anybody have any questions on conventions, art, anything like that right now? Also, so the story I'm doing that has to do with raspberries. I probably won't be painting raspberries at any point. However, I do think it's pretty important sometimes to do something that you know you're going to be drawing or painting a lot in a different medium, so you can kind of see a different way of going about it. That may sound strange, but I think it's a good teaching thing because it's kind of forcing you to look at something in a different perspective. So even if you were going to do, like let's say I was just going to do the raspberries in black and white, doing this color study of them could have definitely shown light on certain parts that's like, okay, well, maybe there are a bunch of dots of white or a different color on each little bulb of the raspberry, right? Well, in black and white, I could remember to take that into account, you know? That sort of thing. Like, it's, sometimes you see things from a different viewpoint when you do them in a different medium. And that's important, I feel like. You can learn a lot from that. So, even just using a different medium and, you know, is a different way of portraying something, which can give you a different viewpoint of it. Which is absolutely valuable all the time. So I think that's part of the reason they have you do like human anatomy and stuff in so many different mediums, like charcoal, pencil, marker sometimes, paint. Like, you know, you redraw the thing a million times, maybe you can figure out what medium works best for you to retain it, you know? I think art school is really just trying to open people up to different things, forcing you to do it by making it an assignment and seeing what things stuck. I think the problem with me, though, is that I was just doing it anyway. So it's not like it really helped, but because I was doing it anyway, but, you know. Sometimes it does. Hey, Mango! You're welcome, Jelly. You want to be able to draw anything with watercolor, then it's sketching. Yeah, me too, Serenity. I think those are good goals. Both of us. Solid goals, man. I'm gonna finish lining some of this. So I'll probably just bring these to New York. If anybody wants either of these, you get free dibs. You know, so if you want one, you get dibs before anybody else. Just let me know. I'll give you a little estimate. Probably be 30 or 40 bucks depending on which one you want. Because there's this raspberry one, and then there's the beaver one. I think he turned out pretty cute. I'll probably add gold here on his strap, but yeah, they turned out alright. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of the just the act of studying, you know. And I think anytime you sit down with the intent to learn, at the end of the session, no matter what, you should, you know, be proud of yourself for sitting down and taking the time to try to learn something. I think that's always commendable and should be rewarded, at least having a moment to reflect, like, yeah, I sat down, I, you know, leveled up. Because remember, no matter what, you're leveling up. I'll do a post-mortem really quick on this, this raspberry piece. Because no matter how small, you know, if you're doing a study, just make sure you think about it, because the study, the whole point of it was to study something. So how did you do? Let me check real quick. Do they make white watercolor paper? Off-white watercolor? I don't know, Sniggle, actually. I think they do. Actually, yes, they do. If you go into a Blick or whatever, they have that giant rack, or sometimes it's drawers of giant watercolor sheets, and they do come in different different colors sometimes. However, I can't say if they'll have like off-white cold press and off-white hot pressed, you know, that sort of thing. But what you can do is take watercolor paper, find an ink that watered down looks good, and then just do a wash over it. It could be watercolor too, because honestly watercolor acts like ink when it's been dried. It's like you can't pick it back up. But I would just use ink just so it's a different thing. And when that's done, because that's what I did with this, actually. So if you want that off-white watercolor paper, so this was white, and then I did a wash on it with an ink, right? So it brought that wash in, and then I made sure as I was doing the second pass to only do the darker parts here, 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 and here, because these candles I wanted to make sure actually had their auras. So dipping in the dark spots, you know, where I knew they'd be, while I was doing the wash, because I had the pencils down, so I knew where it was going to be. But yeah, I think tinting it is fine. It'll work out okay. But I think buying it might be actually more expensive. So yeah, Serenity. Funny story about that. I'll show you this, and then I've got these. So we're doing something kind of pioneer-esque that people haven't really done. So here's the masking fluid, right? So I got it to actually do, I would use this more for backgrounds. So if I was doing a whole wash of like a forest or something, or anything with a background, I would use it for that. This, I don't feel it's completely necessary. It's probably overkill for this, but I would use it to actually mark out where branches and stuff would be in the forest. And you can do that with just a paintbrush and stuff. However, I wanted to make it so I could get like thinner and without line variation. Like if you don't want line variation, that's going to be really hard using a brush. So when Gabe and I were at Blick last, we actually talked to a girl, and I described kind of what I wanted to do, and I was like, is there an applicator that's not a paintbrush, but it almost is like a syringe, but with a steady flow that I don't control, right? And I know that's very specific and kind of weird. But she found me this. And this may or may not work well, and we have to try it out, but you put the masking fluid in here, and so I wanted really fine line stuff for, you know, things. So we got two of these. This one is the thicker one, but what you do is you put the masking fluid in there, and then I could just pull it, and it would be, you know, a steady line, as I kind of, you know, instead of having a syringe where you're trying to do a line like that, which would be ridiculous. The other problem with masking fluid is that it dries and kind of gunks up. So the other nice thing about this thing is that it comes with a needle to keep this from getting clogged, which is super nice. So we got 2 packs of these, one that's a little bit bigger than the other one. So I plan on trying that at some point. Maybe I'll do it on stream if you're interested, because I have no idea how it's going to go, but that's fun. But yeah, I would say to use this for more for backgrounds than anything, and bigger pieces where you're going to have problems with areas like this, and you know, the colors are running together, because that's going to happen way more in an actual composition. In this, it's probably overkill, and until I know how to use this appropriately, I probably won't implement it into my everyday tiny studies. I need to actually feel it out, practice it, mess with it. I feel like doing practice with a new medium like that, or a tool, is way different than doing a study on, say, leaves or something like that. Like, I feel like they're totally different things. Oh, really? Oh, Corey, yeah. Yeah. So that works with watercolor. I'm not sure if masking fluid works with every other paint. Actually, I've never even heard of that. I don't know if it does. So I don't know if it'll work with your acrylics or oils. I forget what you use. But, yeah. No, that's great. So even though this is a very separated out raspberry, I still don't see this as just a study, because this could be a piece. You know, it's standalone. It can be a piece. I could sell this. It's not like it's in a sketchbook and it's not for anyone's eyes or anything like that. Like, I'm going to cut this out. I could frame it if I wanted to, but I have other things I'd rather frame than this. So I'll probably just put it in a little package. But this is what I'm talking about, where you don't do standalone studies, make them into pieces that you can actually sell, you know, do something with. Because that's going to be way worth your time eventually. Okay. Does anybody have any more questions on anything before we go? And we will be back on Monday. We will be doing probably the Twitch emojis next week. So if you yourself are interested in how to make an emoji or an icon, anything like that, Gabe and I will be doing that next week. He'll also be doing a review on his Huon he just got, which is like a Cintiq, like a screen tablet. He just got that today, so by Monday he should have a pretty good opinion of it. So be sure to come back for that. Let's see. I think we have 2 weeks until New York, so that means, what day is it? It is the 16th? 20th. Ugh. Okay, so we have next week as a full week, and then after that, we're at New York, okay, for New York Comic Con. So next week will be a normal stream week. Week after that, totally gone. Oh, yeah, Corey, for sure. If you need the package, DM me on Instagram. I'll send you a picture of it. It comes in different widths and stuff, too, so for sure. Yeah, it's great when you don't want like a brush line. So, Nightshade's back. Okay, so today we got done this cute little raspberry thing, study thing. So I'll cut that up and make that syllable. And then this little guy, this little beaver dude, he's happy about this wood he has. It's pretty cool. He's like, oh yeah, man, I got this wood. How cool is that? So I will probably package him up for someone too. You never know. Sometimes, like, I swear to God, at every con I get someone coming up and being like, hey, do you have this animal? I'm like, yeah or no, you know, whichever. And they're like, okay. So, like, there's always someone looking for a specific kind of animal. Usually, I don't know, actually, it gets really weird. I've had people ask for wolves, which makes sense. Big cats, which makes sense. Bunnies. And there's a guy that asked about fish. I've told some of you about that guy. And then there's another guy that had asked pigeons. I'm sorry, sir, I didn't do a pigeon recently. So, anyway. Or best berries. It's true. For cheesecake, raspberries are dope. However, I have to chew them using my tongue and the top of my mouth, because if I use my teeth, those seeds are going in there and never coming back. Never coming back. That's the worst hamster I've ever seen. Oh my god. That girl. Oh. Really? Okay. So I do have a picture of it, sort of. Yeah, so that's what she saw. Okay, she saw the guinea pig on my banner. This random girl at Gen Con was like 10 feet away, started pointing and came up to my booth, pointed at this guy and said, that's the worst hamster I've ever seen. I said, well, you're very rude. First I said, that's because it's not a hamster, it's a guinea pig. And she said, that's even worse. And then I said, well, you're very rude. And then whatever. But it was just the most random. I don't know. It was so weird. She's like 15, I'm sure. Really young. Cosplaying some anime something. I don't know. That's even worse. Like, get out of here. Your mama didn't teach you right. Get out. Anyway. Okay, we're gonna go. I'm gonna go. Gabe's over there somewhere. I know, right? Anyway, we'll be back Tuesday. If you guys have any ideas that you think of from now until then about an emoji you'd like to use from my channel that's very my channel-esque, please contact me. Because I want to make sure I'm making things that you want to use, okay? So if you get any idea for anything, feel free, just shoot me something on Instagram, right? Good luck. What do you mean good luck? We're not leaving yet for New York. That's after next week. So we still have 1 week of regular streaming, okay? Gabe will do his review next week and we'll do emojis. So Thank you for watching me stumble towards experience. It's been fun, hopefully educational for everybody. But yeah, have a good weekend, guys, alright?